And that's my cue to start the show. Why am I echoing? And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of Hard Rocket Sports, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your weekly 3-hour get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And guys, welcome to Thursday night, February the 10th, in the year of our dear Lord, 2022. As time is flying by, it is that big week of the year. It should be the national holiday this Sunday. It is Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl 56, live from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. A beautiful, beautiful stadium. We have Cincinnati Bengals trying to get off the schneid in the Super Bowl win column, and they are up against the Los Angeles Rams. They're playing in their home stadium. It's 2 years in a row now, folks. Doesn't happen ever. Now it happens 2 years in a row. Last year, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning in their stadium, beating the Kansas City Chiefs with the legend, the GOAT himself at the helm. But this year, we have Joe Burrow against Matthew Stafford in an interesting matchup. We'll get to the game. We got a lot to talk about. James Harden, mask mandates are lifted. Fauci. We got so much to talk about tonight. James Harden gets traded. We got a lot of football stuff, bets, games. We'll do a lot of Super Bowl. Jeremy Giambi dies, passes away. We don't know how. And Gerald Williams, I believe, died of cancer. We got football. We got a ton of football tonight, folks. I'll try to get some music stuff in there, but it's going to be a little difficult tonight. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get to this week. Lots to talk about. Hope you guys have had a great week. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Tune in for the the Sunday Audible Super Bowl show with Jeff Towinski, John Mahefker, and myself. That show will just be an hour, whatever, an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Depends how we run it out. I'm sure Raphael is going to join us for that. Our good friend Raphael Esparza from mybookie.ag.com. It's his busy weekend. Busy. Lots of prop bets for Raphael. So hang in there, guys. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Glad you guys stopped by. And we look forward to a couple hours of music and sports and all the other stuff that goes with it. So hang in there. Let me get my partner in crime, Mr. Hefe Talwinski, on. He is the sexiest man on his side of the screen. And my dear friend of 40 years, Jeff Talwinski. What's up there, Mr. Pope?
None. That's right, man. That's right.
Jeff, you're not coming in. Hold on. Jeff. Whoa.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. What is going on tonight, folks? We got some issues. Let's see. What is different and why is it differing?
You can't hear me?
What is different and why is it differing? Hold on. We don't know why. Microphone. Let's try it again. Jeff, you hearing me?
I hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. I can't hear you.
My mic is on.
Let me see. Nope, I'm echoing back. Talk, Jeff. Can you talk?
Can you hear me?
I can, but I'm echoing back.
Yeah, you're echoing back big time.
Yeah, I don't know why. Nothing is different.
I didn't change nothing on mine.
Hold on. What is this? Why is that there? Jeffrey. I kind of like it.
On some levels, it sounds all right.
It's me. It's your friend, Jeffrey. I don't know why I'm echoing back. Boy, let me stop sharing. Hold on. Did that help? No, that did not help.
It didn't help at all.
No, I got that.
Hey, Mike.
Jeffrey, come to me, Jeffrey.
You have reverb or something on there?
No, nothing's different.
How about delay? You got some kind of effect on it?
I do not believe so. Jeff?
Just keep talking.
No.
Jeff? It's still echo.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Oh boy.
Hold on a second. Might have to. All right. Stay there. I'm going to reboot and come back. Don't go.
Okay.
No.
Mike, are you still there? I don't know what Tommy is hard, but
Jeff.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm good now. I had to show open the two windows. I don't know how I did it. I had to show open twice.
Well, that's not good.
That'll do it to you. Listen, we're a big enough show. We can be in two windows. So we're back. We're normal. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. It's hello, Mike Weissman. How's my boys up at the Hemp Wizard Beer Care Co. Company? Jeff, how's the beer going, Jeff? How's the beer?
Very good, man. Very good. I actually have to order more. I'm going to order it next week. More of not the oil, the conditioner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went through the first batch. I like the Christmas batch.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, made my beard smell nice and everything.
Nice. I see that. And just to stay, first off, let's start the show the proper way. We would be yelled at if I didn't. Jeffrey, how was your week? Any better than last week?
Yeah, of course. I worked less, but
okay.
Something got under my skin this week.
Oh, boy. Is it personal, private? Is it show related?
A whole bunch of different stuff. Somewhat show related, somewhat personal, somewhat
private.
Take
over, Jeffrey. Take over.
Well, I saw somebody that we were once affiliated with.
By affiliation, you mean that was this a close personal friend of ours?
No.
Somebody on the fringe?
No, it was some. I saw them online.
Okay.
And it was a show that we were affiliated with for a very short time.
Okay.
There was a bit of an issue on broadcasting.
Okay.
And I saw that this person refers to himself as the Reverend.
Really?
Yes.
Was this person somehow related to somebody we once played with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I must say that Pope trumps Reverend.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's all we need to know.
Yeah, I have just unfollowed that person today.
And just for the record, I am the Pope.
You're the Pope. That's it. So you're trumping reverends. You're trumping all of that stuff.
Trumping everybody, and if anybody tries to trump me, I will become a god.
You're going straight to God next.
You know it.
There's nothing between. This is where we're headed.
There's nothing. I'm almost there as it is, baby.
That's true. That is true. You are the light, I have to say. And your hair looks magnificent this week. I must say, your hair is at the perfect length this week.
Actually, no, it's not. I need to get this shit cut.
No, I would tell you, you are styling and profiling, my friend.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. They with the light. Forget it. You're Mike Weiss. You got anything that'll sure up the hair too? I know you got the beard working. We got a little something for the hair. Let me know if we got something for the hair. I'll pay for it myself.
So what else is going on, man?
Well, I have to celebrate. We the Lord Dear Fauci himself has said that this is almost over. I don't know where he woke up.
Please,
he woke up this week. It couldn't have been that the fact that a whole bunch of governors said "fuck you," I'm tired of it, and we're lifting all the mask mandates. Could it possibly be that he basically said I better join the party?
I don't know. It's amazing because I never realized that the New York Post updates several times a day their website.
Yes, absolutely. I'm on it constantly. Yes.
Yeah, me too. Even though I don't really, I will try not to read the daily news because they're just simply way too biased against anything.
Yes, I agree with you. I stopped. I told the story. 2 years ago, I stopped reading the Post, the Daily News. They became basically a anti-white, everything's racial newspaper.
Yeah. I mean, the Post, at least they're trying to lean the other way, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and they'll call it like they see it. They've had plenty. I read it every day. I get it delivered and I read it online because there's articles you can't get both ways.
Well, the reason that I'm bringing this up,
please,
is because now they're saying that in the subway system and in the sewer system, rats are now carrying different fragments of the coronavirus.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you didn't see this coming. You didn't.
No, well, they have to come up with the next thing, Jeff. It won't be the same unless we can create some more panic in the world. Now you're going to see the people that I walk into store, because now in New York City you can walk into stores, you don't have to wear a mask unless they tell you to. And you see the people running in horror that you walk in without a mask.
Yeah, well, and you get to go to many stores today.
Yeah.
And the stores that I went to are normally stores that I don't wear masks in anyway.
Right. You kind of know the place to go.
But I will, and I promise, I will be going to stores this weekend. Maskless. But
nice.
That's another story for
what's up to Squatchy guys, and make sure you guys buy the new Squatchy stuff over at Hemp Wizard. The Black Guys from Black Sasquatch got their own fragrance now, so make sure you represent and go buy their stuff. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
No, it's just Fauci all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago at this time, it was a dire situation.
Yes.
And I will admit, the people that were catching it at work, the people were dropping like flies because of the Omicron, or however you pronounce it, variant. And then all of a sudden, they went from you get 10 days off, right, to 5 days. That there should have been an indication that this is starting to slow down and all this other good shit. All right.
Yes.
It was 140% more contagious than the original strain, but yet if you caught it, you only had to stay home for half as long. Couldn't understand it, but listen, it is what it is.
Absolutely. But they lifted the mandates here. Your governor, Kathy Hochul, she has lifted the mask mandate,
and
except for school kids. Huh?
What the fuck is the matter with her? Did somebody inject something into her face to freeze it?
Yeah, she's almost looks like she got stuck in a horror movie right halfway through.
Either that or she had a stroke and she's just paralyzed everywhere except her mouth and shit.
It's very true. I can't argue that point, Jeffrey. She is quite the looker. Again, listen, a bunch of governors, New Jersey now, New York, a bunch of Democratic governors just finally said, we're going to get our asses kicked soon. We better get rid of this mask mandate. People are fed up. And the CDC's out there running around, and your boy Joe Biden's running around out there going, well, it's not necessarily over yet. And they're going, fuck you. It's over. We're done with you.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like that, nobody wants to just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
It's about power, my friend. It's just them being able to say you can and you can't. And
listen, you know what, Tom? Whether it's about power or not.
Yeah, it is.
It's time now. If everything is starting to calm down and everything else, maybe it's time to ditch the mask and everybody and your mother in the pool, because the only way that we're going to beat it now is if you want to get vaccinated, you get vaccinated. That's your business.
Yep.
However you feel about it, that's fine. But you know what? Expose people to it. They're not dying.
No.
They're not dying.
Nope.
Maybe we need to get herd immunity this way.
Just
get out there and go catch it. Have a COVID party.
I'm just waiting for the next. It's gonna come. I hope it doesn't, but I'm the next variant, Jeff. What's the next variant? Oh, it's the microcosm variant. I'm just waiting. But
yeah, it's bullshit, man.
But for now, listen, it's nicer to walk around. If you want to wear a mask, hey, go wear a mask. If you want to get vaccinated, I read it online. My wife showed it to me. Somebody she knows, this man and his husband, they went for their 4th booster shot. 4th. I'm not even going for my first booster shot at this point. Screw you. I don't have to get it. I ain't gonna get it. If I don't need it, I ain't getting it. And so if you want to get it, by all means, I'm all for it. Go for it. If it makes you feel better, makes you whatever. I'm in. Go for it. Wear the mask 6 feet apart. Do what you want. I decided a long time ago to live my life.
That's the thing. To turn around and say that you're anti-vaccine is stupid.
Of course.
Okay, that's one thing, because vaccines in themselves are important to humans and to help us out. What we're against is 2 things. One, is the mandates.
Yep.
To being told to take this shot is not cool. I don't like it. And 2, knowing that nobody knows the long-term effects of this shot, that there's no way that anybody could have studied the long-term effects of this shot.
Correct.
And if you get the shot, then you shouldn't have to worry. It should have been like, well, 75% of the people have the shot, and that's it. We're almost done. We get another 10% of the people that get it. That's it. It's over. But they didn't do that.
Nope.
But as everything has happened, the first variant that came out was dangerous. Then Delta variant came out, and you're like, wait a minute, this is 70%, but I don't see that many. Still don't see no dead bodies piled up anywhere. Then Omicron comes out, and that's even more deadly than ever before. And you're like, but I still don't see any bodies piled up anywhere. I don't see them digging holes in the middle of the street and burning bodies at night. Mass graves. None of this stuff. None of this is happening.
Nope.
Who is this? VUM today.
I don't know. I am going to block that user because I read a couple of things. I checked the last time we had them, and there was some sort of I think like a Russian YouTube thing. So I don't know.
Meaning what? Russian YouTube thing?
I don't know. It just came up like it was part of some Russian YouTube propaganda thing, and
really?
Yes, 100%.
So they may be. So for all you know, man, this is fucked up. I'm going to tell you why this is fucked up. That may be the message coming from someone in Russia asking for help to end this crisis in the Ukraine.
You think that was it?
It's possible, and you're blocking world peace.
That's true.
Maybe Vladimir Putin, right now as we speak, is locked in somebody's basement with an old laptop trying to get a message out. And he says, these people are friends with Israel. I need Israel. And there he is making a fake accounts, throwing messages out there.
I didn't, Jeff. I might have to unblock it. I might have to unblock them now. That's it. If you're that confident that we may be on the precipice of war, and you and I can block it and stop it and help Vlad out, I'll have to reconsider.
Oh, there's definitely going to be war. That's coming. Don't worry about that. These motherfuckers want it, but
they're just waiting for the Olympics to end, my friend. They're just waiting for the Olympics to end.
Yeah, that's scary shit.
And we'll get to we'll talk about the Olympics tonight a little bit, and a lot of football talk. And again, remember Saturday morning, Jeff, myself, and John Myhefka will get together, do a little bit Sunday Audible, possibly the final Sunday Audible of the year. So stick around. We'll give you more information on that. But lots to talk about going forward. Remember, there's no show next week. I am on vacation. I will be away in Florida.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. We're gonna have to do something. What day are you going away?
I leave Tuesday. I'm back on Friday.
Oh,
wow. I'm on vacation for 2 whole weeks. Now we can do something when I get back. We can do something Friday night. We can do something Saturday.
We're gonna have to do something serious, simply because the Super Bowl ends. We can't wait 2 weeks to do something about the Super Bowl.
I agree with you. So I was going to talk to you off the air about it, but yeah, of course we could do one Monday night if you wanted to.
I think we're gonna have to do something, even if it's an hour.
Listen, I am all in. I am on vacation for 2 weeks starting Monday, so I am all for it. And then we'll be back on the 17th. Jeff and I will have some fun. We're going to break. I have not forgotten, and we are going to go through the list of top 40 or 50 of the baseball list Jeff brought up last week, which was a great list to bring up. We're going to do our own list.
Actually, it was top 25.
It was, but that thing goes much higher than that.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so I did a little research, so we're going to dig a little harder, dig a little deeper on that one. We're going to do our own top 20 or 25 list, maybe. We'll see how far we go with that. But we got baseball around the corner if they ever get rid of the lockdown. But
actually, I don't think baseball's around the corner, bro.
You think it's far out? You think it's
I think there's a couple more blocks you got to turn down before you get to baseball.
I see that. Also, a big show coming up March the 19th over at Juicy Lucy. Jeff and his new band Deceiver are going to be taking the stage. What kind of set list are we looking at, Jeff? What kind of bands are you jamming to?
Well, the Deceiver is an old-time Staten Island band that was resurrected for a lot of different reasons, or somehow. But here we are, and the show almost got canceled the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because one guy couldn't make practice, and a couple people got upset. And said that, we can't play the show now and everything else. Meanwhile, it's like, all right, we still have 5 more practices. Okay, instead of keep adding songs every week, it's almost impossible to learn them right in a week. Some of these songs, it's like, why don't we just pick the best 12 songs we have and go out there and play them? But no, people are throwing songs out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go there and play 3 songs and it's like, thank you, good night, and people will be like, what the fuck? I went for a beer. They're gone already. So I don't know what's going to happen. But here's hoping for March 19th with Naked Jedi.
Yes.
And a Kiss tribute band. I can't remember the name.
Nothing to lose. Nothing to
there
lose.
You go. Nothing to lose. There you go.
Yep, I saw it. Looks like a great ticket. I am circling it on my calendar to try to be there that night to see my good friend up there do his thing. It's always a pleasure to see my buddy.
Listen, as much as it would be cool, I hope that you could make it, but understandable. I know that it's a long travel for you.
No, listen, we will certainly see.
Who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
We will see. Listen, it's far off in advance. It's in the wilderness right now, but we'll certainly got a calendar. We got it circled on the calendar, so we will see if we can make it out there. We certainly will, but we will keep promoting it, and hope everybody will go down there and see Jeff and the boys jam it out. Of course, our good friend Johnny Collins and Naked Jedi will be helping out, and never too bad to see a Kiss tribute band with Nothing to Lose. So let's see how that plays out. But we got a lot of show to do tonight, Jeff. We got a lot to talk about. Let's start with the game a little bit. We got a big game Sunday. I have to tell you, there's not a lot of buzz about this game. I don't know how you feel about it. People talking about it, of course, but even sports radio in New York, it's not the predominant talking point. Coaching, Flores, the Giants, a lot of stuff being talked about, but the 56 is not really the focal point this year.
Well, because I don't think it's the matchup that anybody wanted, to tell you the truth. Okay? Think about it. Some of the teams, of course, that aren't there. Yep. I mean, Matthew Stafford, and this is like two rookies going at it in the Super Bowl.
Okay,
that's one thing. Second of all, Matthew Stafford's been in the league for 4,000 years, and he's finally made it. I don't know what to say and how to think about that, but you got Cincinnati. I don't think anybody really wanted Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. Right now, if you could get Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, I think that would be the matchup that everybody would want, without a doubt.
Sure.
I actually think the Super Bowl, the best game so far was the Bills-Chiefs game.
Oh, yeah, phenomenal. Yes, it might be the best game of the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely.
The Cincinnati had a good game, too. The same weekend, I forget who they played, but they had a close one that they're Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans, yep.
And the Rams also played a close one, also, if I remember correctly.
The Rams, yes, their opening week was it Tampa? I think it was Tampa.
No, was it Tampa?
I think it was Tampa. Then they beat. I almost paused. I have to
Green
go back.
Bay.
No, Green Bay. No, Green Bay lost to 49ers.
Green Bay lost to the 49ers?
Yes. Green Bay lost to the 49ers. I think Tampa lost to I'm almost positive. Good.
I'm trying. It looks very good. That's okay.
I'll go to the NFL Network if you don't get it.
Scores. Conference championship was Bengals and Chiefs, 49ers and Rams. Division round, Bengals and Titans, 49ers and Packers. Rams and Buccaneers, which was a 3-point win for the Bucs.
Yeah, we do is great football. Yeah.
The 49ers won by 3.
Yep.
Wild card weekend was there was some good games.
No,
without a doubt.
I would tell you that these playoffs have been fantastic. I'm hoping that this Super Bowl game lives up to is it a dream matchup, Jeff? It's funny you brought it up because that's the first thing on my list is just a dream matchup, and it's not the dream matchup, but this could be a fun game from the sense that that there's enough defense, I think, especially from the Rams, and there's a lot of offense potentially in this game. You could have a 31-28, 31-24 game. This could be one of those last minute, whoever gets the ball last games. This could be that kind of game. I don't know.
It could be, but I'm also thinking that it could go the complete opposite way and be one of these games that it's 9-7 going into the final quarter because both teams came out flat. And not so much that it's a defensive effort, but both teams were involved in some big offensive games or, close offensive games with some points scored.
Right.
And now all of a sudden they haven't played in 2 weeks and people get a little rusty. We know that. And then all of a sudden it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah, this game could go a lot of ways, Jeff. I mean, listen, I'm hoping that I wonder if we on the air. Can you see if we're on the air? I don't see anybody popping up, and
the last couple of weeks has been quiet.
Yeah, I see. We're getting likes on. We're getting likes off the air. I see Joe Cloak, Ogie Simonini, Jay Giasio. But let's see if I see us online here somewhere. We're getting likes off the air. I see Joe Cloak, Ogie Simon. Is that you playing us back?
It says it's live now.
Okay. All right, so then we're there. If you're hearing us, then that's good enough for me. But yeah, so listen, I mean, I think this game can go a lot of ways, Jeff. I think looking at the matchup, I think we'll get to the matchups of the game itself, but I think it comes down to basically obviously it's easy. Yeah, it's going to come down to the offensive lines of both teams. But I think the interesting matchup right off the bat is the quarterbacks. You got the young gun, Joe Burrow, kind of borderline on the overly cocky. You got the little bit of the older vet who hasn't done anything in his career, has a lot to prove. If Stafford's been really good, and he's kind of dusted away the moniker of can't win the big one. But if he goes out here tomorrow, Sunday, Jeff, and he poops the bed, if he doesn't turn into if he turns into 300, 2 touchdowns effort, and they lose, you can't knock the guy. But if he goes out there and throws a $180, 205 yards, whatever, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, that monkey's going to still be on his back.
Yeah, I see what you're saying to an extent, but I got to be honest with you, Tom. You know what? You got to see how this works. If it's a defensive game, then I would have a little bit of a tendency to give him a little bit of space.
Right.
But if it's not a defensive game and it's just, his team sucks and, the other defenses, like you just see them that they're not having a good game themselves, then I could say, yeah, the guy ended up shitting the bed and didn't do the right thing. But if we have a snooze fest and it's like, like I said, 7-6, 7-3 going into the final quarter, I don't think anybody's going to say that it's, was his fault or whatever the case. It's just, I would say, let's see what happens at the end. You know what I mean?
Understood. Yeah. Listen, I think a lot of good what you say there. I kind of agree. Like I said, it's going to come down to how well the team plays around him, and of course how he plays personally. And if he plays well and they lose, we'll be a little less skeptical. But he can't make the bad play at the end of the game. I think this game is going to be close. Like I said, we'll get more into it. One thing that I keep hearing people saying this is a rematch of was a Super Bowl 20-something.
Rematch at Super Bowl 20-something.
Yeah, and I'm like, they do realize that nobody from that game is playing. Well, because it's I'm sorry, not the rematch of that game. I'm sorry. It's the 40. Oh my God, my brain's fried today. That the Bengals are going to what is the right word? Rally from their last Super Bowl appearance. I was like, guys, it was 33 years ago. Nobody's on the team, nobody's around. This game, that whatever happened in the last Super Bowl 31 years ago when Boomer Esiason left the field with the lead and John Candy was in the stands, nobody cares. That is the most irrelevant thing in the world.
Ickey Woods has tripled in size since the last time the Bengals went.
Did you see Ickey running around? Ickey's not doing the shuffle. Ickey's doing the Super Bowl stomp at this point.
I was going to say Super Bowl waddle, but that's another story. But listen, as far as the Rams and the Rams and the Bengals didn't play.
Yeah, I get
what the fuck. Where's the continuation here?
I don't know, man. Dude, if I tell you hear it all week long. People talking about that Super Bowl. I'm like, guys, it is irrelevant. The last time Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl is irrelevant. The Rams played the Super Bowl a couple of years ago and lost. I mean, that's to me would be more of a conversation about going back and fixing what you did the last time. But
no, last time that the fucking Bengals were in the in the Super Bowl, Tim Krumrie's leg looked like a snake.
Yes, we did
trying
watch
to get
that
away from a fucking
we did watch we did watch that game together. I remember being in Joe Gandis's downstairs apartment.
Yes, I remember my mother. I remember everybody bringing a little something over. My mother making something so that me and my brother had something to take over. It was me, you, Joey, I believe Don Mansueto, Frank Jeffrey. I remember being there.
Yes.
I don't remember who else. I just remember that was a great time, man. Great time.
Yes, we played football that morning over on the turf.
Yes.
Everybody went home and showered and changed. Hopefully, everybody went home and showered and changed. There's some question marks in there, and then we all met up at Joey's house. I remember going food shopping with Frankie and somebody, and we brought we made a big antipasta, and we brought that. That was our contribution to the.
Yeah, I remember a lot of beer. I remember that.
A lot of fun as we always did, and it's gonna be. It should be. Listen, it should be a holiday, but this game just doesn't have the buzz. Jeff, I watch every night this week. I've tried to watch the NFL Network. For years, they used to have tons of coverage and so much to talk about, and it is just nothing. It's probably more talk about Snoop Dogg and the halftime show, which, by the way, I don't know if you ever watch it. I never watched the halftime show. I can't tell you the last time I put it on.
I have no urge to ever watch the halftime show, regardless of who's performing, where they're performing, why they're performing. No reason at all. I don't care about the halftime show. I will take it one further. What I have heard about the halftime show was all negative stuff over some of the songs that Snoop Dogg sings. Now, I don't personally like Snoop Dogg as an artist, but I find humor in his character and what he does, because he's, a weed head and the way that he carries himself. I just think that it's humorous. I did not know the content of some of his songs, to be honest with you. After hearing some of the content of it, I kind of backed off a little bit and that's not cool.
Yeah.
But I understand that's my thoughts and everything else. Not my problem. Why are you putting an artist like that as the halftime show?
Well, it's Dr. Dre. It's him, Dr. Dre, Eminem. Jeff, for a league that wants social justice, wants to stop race hating and all that, they seem to bring in a lot of guys who talk about blacks killing blacks and using the N-word. And I would not call that necessarily celebrating. I don't understand it's kind of hypocritical to me that you spend all this money on eliminating the hate and the racial justice, and then you bring in artists who basically have spent their lives promoting killing blacks, killing other blacks, and using words that I understand that people think are inappropriate.
Well, you got to remember one thing, okay? It's okay for blacks to promote black on black violence.
It is.
Okay? It's not okay to think and know about white on black violence.
Okay.
And it's not okay to think about black on black violence. Okay. Unless, of course, you're black and you're singing about black on black violence.
Then that's okay.
And then it's completely different. And it's not right, because it's like when it suits people, then it's okay. But when it doesn't suit people, then there's a problem.
Right.
And I kind of have a problem with that. If you need to walk the line and stay on it, not jump from line to line to line when it fits your narrative. I feel as though that if you're going to make a halftime show like they're going to make, I don't think that it's like, let's put a thrash band on.
Well,
how come Metallica has never once been able to play the Super Bowl?
Well, let me, I was going to bring that up to you. Let me ask you that question. Why do you think that the Super Bowl show seems to tend to favor artists such as, a couple years ago it was Jennifer Lopez and Shakira.
I had no problem with that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't. You tend to see a lot of rap or I don't know what you call those kind of bands. You don't see the old time. I mean, it's been a long time. I think at some point Bruce Springsteen did it. I think Aerosmith had done it. Kiss did it 20-something years ago. But the tendency, especially the last few years, is to have artists like Snoop Dogg and that do this. Why do you think the NFL would bring in bands or artists like this who are so controversial with the things they say, instead of bringing in maybe more safer acts?
Well, if you don't know why some of the artists they got going today are up there, then they haven't been paying attention, in my estimation, on what's going on.
Well,
I think they're trying to appease a lot of different people, and I think they've made some ground up that way, but I think they made the ground up the wrong way.
Yep.
Especially now with the Flores incident happening and everything else. I think that you're lucky that it hasn't changed completely. With you know what I mean?
Do you know that Jay-Z is a partner with the NFL on their social justice messaging?
Gee, what a fucking shocker.
So do you think there's a reason why we're seeing Dr. Dre? Let's see, who else is in this tonight? It's Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. I think didn't Kendrick Lamar do it last year also? I want to say that there's...
I really don't know because I don't follow the halftime show. Yeah. I like to watch football.
Me too.
Okay. And I'm sure that you and your wife do your thing. This year we have a little bit of going on before the show.
Oh, yeah.
Before the actual game. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, yeah.
Okay.
And my wife makes chili.
Oh, nice.
And cooks chili all day. Slow cooking chili all
nice.
day.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah. And she usually makes a shrimp cocktail, chili. Nice. And then she'll make a few small other things, basically for me. So, like, maybe some pigs in a blanket or whatever. She does what she does,
right?
And it's cool. Don't get me wrong, and it tastes great.
Absolutely.
And then usually, if the game starts at 6:30, she's usually sacked out by 7:30, 7:45.
You're up by yourself,
eating the dog,
eating chili.
Yeah, and it's. I don't even give a shit about the fucking thing. I want to just watch football. It's the last football game of the year.
That's true.
I don't want to know I don't want to have any interruptions, no nothing. Yeah. Let's just watch the football game and have fun. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree with you more. And, to me, I take the time during the halftime show and go to the bathroom, go eat, do a couple of things and come back. And now we know that the Super Bowl halftime show is closer to a half hour, 40 minutes, as opposed to the regular 20 minutes that they usually do, which is annoying. But, I guess some people still like the halftime show, Jeff. I have not paid attention to it in years. I don't watch it. I don't plan to watch it. I probably haven't watched a halftime show since Janet Jackson dropped the old boob out. That was probably the last one I watched.
I just could not care less.
Yes.
Who Janet Jackson could have come out with her cans of flashing from the start. She didn't even need Justin Timberlake as a duet for that one. And I just couldn't be bothered.
I agree.
As far as watching it. And I'll tell you what bothered me is we know that we're on live, but nobody seems to be interacting with us. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I nobody's interacting with us tonight. I don't know if there's an issue out there. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't
know. I'm see Joe Cloak likes a photo we're tagged in, but that's it. And here we are.
Yeah, I see it. Joe Cloak will be saying.
Well, yeah, I guess, right?
See Joe Cloak likes a photo we're tagged in, but that's it.
Yeah, you and me, we're both. Listen, show's on. People watch. There's a few people watching. I can tell you that much.
How do you know they're watching it?
Because I have a little thing on my screen that it kind of gives me an idea. It tells me usually, there's a few people out there looking, so I can tell.
But you don't know who it is that's watching the show?
No, it just tells me. Only I can tell you is if they're watching through YouTube or through the Hard Rock or through Facebook. That's all I can tell you that. Yeah.
All right.
So right now there is a few people watching through Facebook. Nobody's watching through YouTube right now.
How are our numbers in the Middle East?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me, Jeff. We definitely went down a little bit this week. Yeah, we were at, last week we were celebrating an 8.35% rating. We are down to 8. It was 8.18 before the show, and I checked it just as we were going on the end. It was 8.17. So we definitely lost. Somebody is not listening this week.
We're losing steam.
Yeah, so we have to do something. You have to do something crazy, Jeff, and try to start like Ozzy. Bit the head off the bat. You're going to have to come up with some sort of stunt to rile the people up in Israel to get them back watching.
We need the half man.
Yeah, the half man. The half man only almost moved in with me this week.
Almost what?
The half man nearly moved in with me this week.
Really? Why? What happened?
That's another off the air story. So
wait, what happened? What happened to his?
The half man? It was. I thought I was going to have to go pick up the half man and bring him here for a couple of days.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah. So I've not heard from the half man since.
Is everything okay with his love?
I can't answer that one, Jeff. I don't know.
You can't answer on the air, or you just
I can't answer on the air. So off the air, you and I can.
I think you should do the right thing and just spill it right here on the I mean, after all, it's the half man. So
it's true. It is the half man. So, but Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, we're talking Super Bowl 56 and the half man. So glad you guys popped in. Everybody who's out there watching us do our thing, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Love to have you guys chime in. I'm sure we'll get some people popping up, but in the meantime, we got a lot to talk about. So another bad thing for the Super Bowl this week, Jeff, it's NBC games. That means we're stuck with Chris Collinsworth and
I like Al Michaels.
And Al Michaels, yes.
I like Al Michaels. Chris Collinsworth, that man, first of all, because of Chris Collinsworth, the game should be on a 15-second delay. To see where somebody could tell him what he's saying, because the guy has no fucking clue to what he's saying and doing as an announcer. The things he'll be like, oh, look at that. Another guy just popped in. Russian guy.
Yep, I see that. That's if you Google that saying on the bottom, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yum today?
Yeah, you have. I think that's the same as the one I saw last week. So
yeah, what was that? VUM today?
Yep. VUM with a dot today. It's some sort of YouTube thing.
VUM.
Check it out. But yeah, so I'm not a fan of Chris Collinsworth. I like Michaels to a certain degree. I was trying to think today, who would I rather be watching this week? And I couldn't come up with a good answer. I certainly don't want to see Nance and Romo. That Romo's got to be the worst.
Yeah, I would say so. Man, that is definitely not what I was hoping to see. I don't know what that is. That's some kind of Russian sex site or something.
Yeah, so it's we're definitely not saving the world at the Ukraine.
Well, we're not saving it that way, and wow. But anyway, yeah. How about this? About this? Let me give you a trio of announcers and tell me if this is you would want to sit through this game. You ready?
Done.
You would start off with Howard Cosell, Joe Buck, and Chris Collinsworth.
Oof, gee. At least Cosell was comical. Joe Buck,
to an extent, he was comical, but that voice and the way that he delivered everything.
Now, StreamYard's telling me to refresh the page. I've never done a refresh the page while we were on the air, so I don't know. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, listen, we jump back on. Go ahead, refresh.
Give me a sec.
All right. Well, there we are. Well, there I am. I don't know what time he is. He's refreshing.
Back here we are, Jeff and Tom.
No change.
Yeah, let's see if that worked. Block the user. Yeah, some sort of an error is occurring. I don't know why. I get the banners up. I didn't put the banners up today. Let's put that up, and let's put the ticker's got to change. So yeah, I was praying. But I didn't know. Do I want Buck and Aikman? I'm not a huge fan of Buck and Aikman. I don't like Nance and Romo. And then it got Collinsworth. So I said I'm probably better off. At least I get Al Michaels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you a question. And this is something that I'm guilty of. I find myself not paying attention to what they're saying while I'm watching the game. Like I find myself almost not listening to the game, but just watching it. It's really strange. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I don't like the announcers, or maybe just my attention span nowadays.
I don't know. It could honestly be a combination of things, simply because I honestly, when you're watching the game with announcers that you don't like, I don't see the problem with Joe Buck. Other than that, he's Joe Buck. He just doesn't look loose. He looks tight. He looks, Troy Aikman. I don't mind Troy Aikman. I don't understand why people hate those guys so much, but because they're not as bad. To me, the worst is Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
No,
Romo's the worst. Romo's the worst.
I once again, I don't have much of an issue with Romo either. It's just Chris Collinsworth. Whatever he's saying, he does no idea what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
It's something like he just does not, he's not watching the same thing, or he sees it completely different. He'll be like, oh, the ball hit the ground. And it's like, the ball never even come close to hitting the ground. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of Chris Collinsworth.
No, and he's been doing it for years.
Now, I do find it interesting, and I'm curious to see what his take. Obviously, he's a former Cincinnati Bengals, so I wonder, a lot of the guys like Boomer Esiason and Ickey Woods, you see them interviewed, they're rooting openly. They're rooting for their old squad. I'm curious to see how he handles that on Sunday. Most of these guys, they get Romo was torn apart this year for rooting for the Cowboys during the playoff game when they wound up losing with that most ridiculous play at the end of the game.
You can't fault these guys for rooting for a team or hoping that a team wins, especially if they spent most of, if not their whole entire career, with this organization. Chris Collinsworth, he was a Cincinnati Bengal from start to finish.
Yeah.
If this guy comes out and he's got a Bengal jersey on and he's like, go team, so be it.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? As long as he announces the play and he's not letting his allegiance to a team affect his announcing.
So you're saying is if he's watching a play and it's black and white, if he says it black and white, good or bad, you're okay with it. And if he roots for his team, so be it.
Well, listen, if he turns around, he's like, listen, I'm an old-time Bengal. I really hope that they win. And, as long as he doesn't turn every play to be about the Bengals, I don't have a problem with it. Because let's face it, these guys all want to see a team win.
Mm-hmm. Sure, of course.
Of course, that they're not going to turn around and not say it. And Chris Collinsworth, being a lifetime Bengal, is not going to turn around and say, well, I really hope that the Rams squeak this one out.
Yeah.
Do it. That's all there is to it. Now if he turns around and he's like, oh, that was an unfair call, that goes against the Bengals, this, that, and the other thing, it just, I don't know. Then I would have a problem with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we'll get past that. It should be a lot of fun. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. I want to go off the Super Bowl a little bit. We'll definitely come back to it. I want to get your keys to the game. I want to give you my kind of take on it. We're going to do a lot more Super Bowl Sunday. For Super Bowl Sunday this Saturday when Jeff and I and John get together for the Sunday Audible. But I do want to touch on the game itself. Should we make our picks tonight, or we should hold our picks till Saturday?
We can make our picks and then make them again on Saturday, simply because if something happens and we can't get the picks in or we can't get on for whatever reason. Where's your dad, by the way?
Yeah, it's very surprising. I don't see my dad tonight. I don't know. I didn't talk to him since Sunday. He might have had one of his meetings or something. It's very strange. That he maybe just fell asleep. That's getting that's getting a little old out there. So he might have just slept through the show tonight. So who knows? Jeff, I don't want to beat the Brian Flores thing to death. There's really not been too much about this week, but it was an interesting take. Lovie Smith used to be the Chicago Bear coach. He coached at Illinois in college. Lovie Smith got the job at the Texans. Did you see that?
Yes.
So so now I don't know if you saw the picture of the new coach of the Dolphins, who's supposedly biracial. Did you catch that today?
Yes, I received an email. Yes, I have.
You did. Okay, good. So,
yes.
But the Lovie Smith thing was interesting because now listen.
Was that seriously, by the way, that he identifies as biracial?
Yes.
Right now, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm thinking buyer beware on that one.
Yeah, but it's I saw Goodell interviewed, and he was saying that they're going to review the Rooney Rule, maybe even get rid of the Rooney Rule, come up with something better, change the things around. Who knows? And I get the guy's in a tough spot. But the Lovie Smith thing is interesting because Lovie Smith got the job, and that is always going to be the question. Did Lovie Smith get the job? Would Lovie Smith give it a job to quiet things down a little bit? Lovie Smith has not been a great coach. I know he's been to the playoffs a couple times. I think actually went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman with the Bears and got beat. But the interesting part of it to me, and I don't know, maybe don't say, but It was the reaction of Brian Flores. Did you read that reaction to it?
No. I actually stopped reading the stuff about Brian Flores simply because I think now he's just talking out his ass.
Well, I'll give you some more to say that he was talking about. So he sends out the message that, congratulations to Lovie Smith for getting the job at the Texans. It's great to see that happen. Should have ended right there, right? Like, that's just nice. He goes, but of course, if I didn't do this lawsuit, I would have been the Texans coach.
Okay.
And why did that need to be said? Like, so you're saying you're a better candidate than Lovie Smith? Are you proving that you cut your own throat? Because we all know you cut your throat, you're probably never going to work in the NFL again. Like, why did that need to be said? So, and then the other interesting fact is that Hugh Jackson has come out and said, Brian Flores is incorrect. I never said that I was offered money to throw games. So a little bit of shade this week on Brian Flores, even more than last week.
Well, let me ask you this in regards to Lovie Smith being the Texans coach.
Yep.
Okay. Who wants to be the coach of the Houston Texans right now? You're talking about a team that has a major quarterback issue.
Yep.
Okay. With a player that they might not be able to unload for the price that they're thinking that they're going to get. Okay.
Correct.
That's one thing. Think of that. Okay.
Yep.
Second, you're entering a major, because there's no definite quarterback, you're entering a major rebuild.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because you're entering a major rebuild, who do you really think that coach is going to be there for 3 years when this team may start to climb out of its hole?
Good question. Yeah.
So you're talking about they hired, and now I don't know. I'm just thinking, because this is what we have to do. We have to cover both sides again. Do you think that the Texans hired a minority coach so that they have a minority coach? Okay, they did their thing, but yet also make him almost like a sacrificial lamb, because there's no way that Lovie Smith is going to turn around and take this team to the promised land and become a folk hero in Houston.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, Jeff, because that's what Lovie Smith and Brian Flores are saying, is that they, as black coaches, they were put in a position to lose, so that way, the teams tanked it, basically trading away good players, going for number one picks. Then we're able to get rid of their black coaches and bring in others. No, I don't believe that's the case at all. I don't think NFL teams try to lose. I don't think sometimes that they don't mind to lose a little bit to get a number one pick or something, but I do not believe that. No,
I'm not saying that they're trying to lose. And especially the situation with Lovie Smith. This is what I'm saying with Lovie Smith. Okay, you could have Bill Walsh there, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick. Okay, they're not going to do anything with this team for 2 to 3 seasons. Don't you feel that that's the case?
Yeah, 100%. They're in disarray. They got to figure out their quarterback position. Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Right now, you're sorting a hurricane, a tornado, joined forces, and just blew through your neighborhood. Now you're rummaging through the debris to see what you have left and what you need, and what is okay, what's salvageable. Okay, now you're doing it with a coach that doesn't have the greatest record, didn't have the greatest winning percentage, and now you have him as your coach. Why?
Yeah,
maybe you'd say, okay, we'll take this candidate.
Yeah,
because we know, isn't he kind of old too? Isn't he like over 65?
I would say, I don't know if he's over 65. He's definitely in the early 60s range for sure. I don't know if he's over 65. I'd have to look up Lovie Smith.
Let's real quick. You know why? Because I question that. And I'm not saying that he's 63 years old.
Okay, so we're close. Okay,
so he's in his early 60s. So I mean, he has time, but you know what? How much time is he going to have? How much time is he going to want to coach for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How come Eric Bieniemy, once again, didn't seem to – I don't even hear this guy going for a fucking interview.
Yeah. He must either be the worst interview or, or either that or he isn't the mastermind behind anything over there, and he's being dragged along by Andy Reid.
Why would Andy Reid keep him for all of this time? All right,
well,
and protect him, by like, making him seem to be something that he's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm with
makes
you.
sense to me.
To me, to recycle Lovie Smith and not give a job to Eric Bieniemy doesn't make any sense. To bring this kid, this Mark McDaniel guy from the 49ers, if I hear Mark McDaniel's an offensive genius for the 49ers, and I go, the 49ers can't score any points. How is he an offensive genius?
Well, let's put it this way. You're about to find out.
Yes.
In the 2022 season. And if this is a team that averages 12 points a game, compared to what they were scoring, then you could say, this guy was an offensive genius. He looks as though that he would have trouble with sixth grade math. I'm surprised that he found a woman to mate with.
He's actually 39 years old.
I don't give a fuck how old he is. He's just fucking hideous looking, man.
Yeah. Well,
and then far be it from me.
Yep.
What did he go to 23andMe and see what his genetic background was? That he's going to say that he's part black. He looks like he's partially retarded. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, it's a very strange thing, and I don't know if teams are scrambling to bring in candidates who are black just to appease everybody. I hope it hasn't come to that. I just say, but Brian Flores really should just go away. He's never going to prove anything. He's gonna be a joke. And unfortunately for the guy, he's probably a good coach. And I got to be honest with you, when everything went down with the Giants, he would have been my first pick. He would definitely have been my first pick.
He is a good coach.
Yeah.
He is a good coach. 2 years in a row, he got that team. He got a winning record in Miami. Yep. 2 years in a row, something that hasn't been done since the early 2000s. That's one thing.
Yep.
Yes, he lost 7 in a row. Yes, he won 7 or 8 in a row.
Yes.
Okay. That team was in playoff contention till week 16, 17, whatever it was, till the bitter end.
Yep.
Okay. Like that up until the last game or second to last game, they were in contention for a playoff spot. I don't understand. And then, all right, so the Dolphins canned them. I didn't understand that move when it happened. That was a surprise to me. I didn't think that he would end up getting, fired. But it is what it is. If he kept his mouth shut, he would have had a job. Yeah, he would have got a job somewhere. I mean, I can't imagine he wouldn't have got one of them. I don't know why he didn't. They had Raheem Morris. They had a couple guys come out this week and said, I don't know what Brian's doing. But none of my interviews were shams. I felt like I was treated really well. I had a great opportunity, and I hope to get now. Either he meant that, or he's saying it so that he gets another opportunity down the line. I don't know. But there's another twist to this whole thing, Jeff. The NFL and the commissioner and Robert Kraft are pushing for a black ownership group to take over and buy the Denver Broncos. I don't know if you read that at all this week. No, I didn't. I didn't see that. Okay, so they're pushing. They want black ownership. I've read 3 or 4 different things where different people want black owners, and I say to myself, well, let me ask you this question. First off, do you know the guy that? Obviously, you didn't know the article. So they're pushing former comedian Byron Allen and his group to buy. Do you remember who Byron Allen is? I heard the name. I don't remember. Yeah, he used to do his most famous thing. He's had a bunch of shows. He used to be on a show with Kathy Lee Crosby and Joe Theismann, a Sunday night show. I'm trying to think of the name of it now, but there was a Sunday night show, and he was on that show. Kathy Lee Crosby and Joe Theismann. Yes, wasn't it? Can you believe that or something? Or something to that effect. It was one of those shows. Wasn't it Fran Tarkenton? Nope, it was Joe Theismann. What? If it's the show I'm thinking of, I believe Fran Tarkenton was on it, and then Joe Theismann took over. You could be 100% right. I'm going to look it up now. But I remember Kathy Lee Crosby, tall woman with blonde hair. Yes. Let me look her up. I'll see what shows she's on. Kathy Lee Crosby, Wikipedia. The original Wonder Woman. She's still alive. She is still alive. She dated actor. She was in a relationship with Joe Theismann. Oh boy! Hold on a second. She was taking on Little Joe. She was taking on Little Joe. Did she break his leg too? That's the show. That's incredible. Yes, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Now you were right. Let's see. It started out with John Davidson, Fran Tarkington, and Kathy Lee Crosby.
John Davidson.
Yes,
Man,
John Davidson. Yeah.
I got to look that guy up, man. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yes, John Davidson, Fran Tarkington. Good memory, Jeffrey. Good memory. I was almost positive that Joe Theismann was in that for a little while. I have to look that up a little bit. Wow.
Jesus, he fucking still alive.
Oh yeah. They're all still alive. But my point is, my big question out of this whole thing. So let's say a black ownership group takes over the Denver Broncos. Are they obligated to have a black coach? What if they hire a white coach who's the most qualified guy? Let's say Jim Harbaugh said, I want to come back and coach for the Denver Broncos. And they hire him. Are they now racist?
Are you going to... Is it going to be mandatory that there's a black-owned team that has nothing but black-owned players?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I mean? And it's going to be the soul train of the NFL?
I'm just trying to figure it out.
I know, I hear you.
I'm just saying, I understand you want black ownership. I think anybody who wants to own a team, if you can afford it, go for it. I am all for that. But my point is,
how about instead of having black ownership, how about having poor middle-aged white man ownership?
You want to
let us take a crack at it?
You want to run a team, Jeff?
Sure, why not?
No, we couldn't do any worse than somebody. We couldn't do any worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Listen, do we get a little extra money for a stipend on the side?
Sure, why not? We're on the same team.
Yeah, as long as we're not spending millions a year on cocaine and hookers, we could slip some stuff.
Why? It seems like the Washington Redskins were doing it. What's the difference? What the hell?
Yeah, well, let's see. At our ages, if we get caught in 10 years, I guess we'll. I don't know.
Exactly.
It was fucking banging hookers and snorting cocaine. I don't remember.
But you get my point. Like, I understand you want a black ownership group. I think that's terrific. But if the black ownership group hires a white coach, are they now racist?
Yeah, their own kind will be storming the stadium. Forget about it.
I'm just trying to figure it out, Jeff. I have no idea. By the way, Ted Nugent says transgender women competing on female sports is the work of Satan. So just so you know, that good old Ted's out there. Uncle Ted is out there speaking for all of us.
I got to be honest. I wouldn't say it's the work of Satan, but it's definitely fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want you to think, nothing against women. Women do things that men can't do.
Correct.
Okay? But men do things that women can't do.
Of course.
Okay? So the world shouldn't be based on a woman could do the same thing a man can, because you can't.
Correct.
Okay? Because a man can't do the same thing that a woman can. All right? And one of the things that a man can do that a woman can't do is a man has more natural strength for the most part, more natural speed, and is their athleticism is more coveted than that of a woman. And I think you could watch the NBA versus the WNBA.
Sure.
Okay. Olympic hockey, men's hockey versus women's hockey.
Very good point.
You know what I mean? So I think you understand the point. It doesn't mean that watching women is wrong, but it just, when does it stop? When does it stop?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is the question. When does it stop? I mean, I'm sorry. I had this conversation with a buddy of mine at work, and I said to him, "Would you be okay if your daughter was on a basketball team and she lost her spot because a boy who was now transgender took her spot away?" And he said, "Well, if I was the transgender kid's father, I would be mixed emotions because I want my kid to play." I said, "But is it fair to the young girl who has no chance of competing in the men's team that she now loses her spot on the girls' team, possibly a scholarship, possibly a chance to play in the WNBA or whatever sport it is, because some boy decided he was a girl and can't compete in boy sports?" Because to me, if you're a boy, I don't really care what your biological is. You compete with that thing. I'm sorry, I don't care how many hormones you take, and it's a big thing. Some people feel that if you identify as a woman, you should be allowed to compete in women's sports. I think it's wrong.
I don't think that's right, because somewhere along the line there's going to be somebody who's psychotic enough to twist that around completely. that says, now I identify as a woman so that he can compete in women's sports, so that he gets some accolades.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
possibly wins awards and medals and whatever. There's also going to be the sick, twisted fuck that just does it so that he could get access to certain things that there's no way that he would normally get a chance to do. But you know what? Why don't you just make, with everything that's going on in the world today, let's make a fucking league for them.
Yeah, again, I think anything's better. I just say, you know what? It's never going to be a problem until some guy goes into the NBA, the WNBA, and takes some woman's spot.
Well, you know what? Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Okay. Because me and my wife talk about it, and every once in a while my wife passes a remark, but I don't fight with her over it because she has some women pride, woman's pride, whatever you want to say, and that's fine. Okay. But my wife definitely knows more about a lot of things than I do. But if it comes to lifting heavy furniture, I really would not want her on the other end of the sofa if I'm trying to move it in the house.
Right.
Not because I don't want her to help me, but because I don't want her to get hurt, and I don't want me to get hurt because she can't handle the physicality of the job. We're not built the same. We're built differently. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So now, in this situation, with a man going into the WNBA, which very well may happen one day.
Oh, I definitely see it happening, but go ahead.
What happens when the first woman infiltrates and wants to go play in the NFL and she actually makes a team? There's very few, if limited, positions that she's going to be able to try out for, other than maybe punter or kicker. Can you see a woman on the offensive line? Can you see a woman at left tackle?
No.
Okay. Can you see a woman at cornerback?
No.
A woman at linebacker?
No.
Now imagine a woman as a running back.
No.
Okay. Does a woman have the size to become a quarterback in the NFL?
I've never seen a girl. I've seen a couple of videos. There's a couple of videos I've seen of a woman throwing a football, where it almost looks like a man's throwing a football. But I would tell you that other than maybe place kicker, punters are maybe too, holder of the football. I do not see a spot on the field where a woman can compete. Unfortunately, they're just not built that way.
No, it's a men's football league for a reason.
Yeah.
And I don't see a woman, for the most part, being 6'3", 6'4", 230 pounds, built for football tough, to go out there and get hammered, a bunch of times by some guy that's over 300 pounds. And if one was able to make it and rose to those ranks, do you think that she's going to go through extra hardship because she's the first woman quarterback or the first woman wide receiver, or the first woman running back? Could you imagine a woman as a running back going through the pile?
No.
There's going to be guys that are going to be dumb enough to touch inappropriately, and God only knows how these guys get touched when they're playing.
Yeah, that's not always the brightest guys on the other side of the field.
What's that?
Not always the brightest human beings are on the bottom of that pile. So
no, they're not. And if the first time that one gets touched, that could spark a firestorm. You're gonna have a guy, a Hall of Fame bound lineman, and all of a sudden he's the one that she thought, well, he just touched me inappropriately.
Yeah,
and that's it. Now let me ask you this:
sure.
Could you ever see a woman making Major League Baseball?
They had the leagues. They had a couple women who really could try to play in the play with pros, and it never happened. No, I don't. I don't know if there's a sport. Maybe hockey.
No,
like a goalie in hockey. Maybe.
Definitely not.
I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't see a spot in men's sports, the major sports I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course.
Where a woman could compete. I think the middle male athlete is probably better. Not the superstar, not the guy who's kind of riding the pine, but the guy that kind of the middle guy is usually going to be a better athlete than the top women athlete.
on certain levels, yes, I could agree with that. But not across the board. I think that if you take the top woman athlete and put her against the mid-level male athlete, that it would be close only because of the power and stuff that a male athlete has over a woman.
Correct.
But a woman would have certain skills. I disagree as far as a sport goes. I can see a woman one day infiltrating baseball, certain positions. I don't think that you would see one as a catcher or a pitcher.
Where would you see it?
Second base.
Yeah.
Second base, maybe right field.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't argue with you on that one. I think it's possible.
But would they have the arm to play outfield?
No. You'd have to play them on. I would think. I've never seen a woman throw that well, so I can't say that.
No, neither have I. But then again, when you do watch, I have watched college softball.
Yes,
I've seen a couple games, but you got to take into consideration the size of the field. It's a lot smaller than a major
100%. But you very rarely do you see anybody with a cannon of an arm. You see a good arm.
You see a good arm, but you know what? Most of the times in women's softball, the ball, you don't really see that many rallies and 7-run innings and stuff like that, and people, but they do tank it over the fence a lot.
Oh yeah, no, you see, I've seen a few at home. I've seen a few shots over the fence. Yeah, for sure.
But you're also talking about women that are, 5'3" and like 210 pounds, and they're just built differently.
Yes, I got you.
These women spend a lot of time in the gym.
Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom having fun on a Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in and give us a little bit of your time. We're here every Thursday, except for next Thursday. But we'll do something next week because it's Super Bowl. We'll do something to close up the Super Bowl. I don't know if we'll do it Monday night if Jeff wants, or we'll do it Friday or Saturday night. Whatever he wants to do, we'll do something next week to close out the Super Bowl. And of course, tune in the following week. We'll be back on our normal time and running through things. We got I got a lot of old stories to bring up. I'm just concentrating on football right now. For Jeff, hey, I gotta bring it up, and we're gonna argue a little bit on this one. But did you read the Deflategate stuff that I sent you?
No, but I'm not touching the Deflategate stuff unless we touch the Devin Hester stuff too.
Oh, we can touch Devin Hester. Absolutely.
We don't have to do it now, but let's make sure. Let's not forget that one. I got a bone to pick with you guys.
Okay. So I want Deflategate.
Do Deflategate. Let's get this.
So the NFL did some studies afterwards, and it seems like that the footballs in the same conditions and the same setups and weather all reacted the same way that the footballs for the Patriots acted, basically saying that the theory that they were tampering with the footballs was incorrect, and the NFL has squashed and thrown this information out and didn't want this to get out to people. They kind of want to let it die. But the bottom line is the NFL did a significant test of footballs in conditions exactly like that. And when they went to test the balls, the footballs had the same reaction. In the heat, they would expand a certain amount, and in the cold, they would deflate a little bit. And basically came to the conclusion that the Patriots did nothing wrong. Go ahead, Spike.
Well, first of all, is this a family show tonight?
Well, it's always a family show, but go ahead.
You have the taste of Brady on your lips. I'll go right there. I'm going right for the kill.
Going right for the jugular on that one?
Right for the fucking kill on this one. Okay?
Right for the jugular on that one.
Drink whatever Kool-Aid they brew about this fella.
Right? This is not about Tom Brady. This is about the Patriots. And
I know. But Tom Brady was the one accused of the deflated balls.
He was, yes. He
and they had text messages and witnesses and everything else. Mm-hmm. Just admit that your boy Brady let a little air out of the football because he wanted to get an advantage. Okay, which just takes away from his legacy.
Oh my God!
And it doesn't matter because the NFL, short of coming up with a time machine, and following Tom Brady around through that whole time period where he was mic'd and every day, they just come up to him and be like, Tom, we got a mic here. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he walked around mic'd for fucking weeks. Everything he said. That is the only way that they could ever prove it, because anything else is just hearsay at this point in time, to me. And they're just saying this just because the guy is retired. Now they don't want to ever, when the time comes, they want the NFL wants Tom Brady to go in there on the first ballot. No bullshit. They want him to go in anonymously. So they're going to clear him of all wrongdoings of Deflategate. It's bullshit.
This is your theory?
Put the air out of the fucking balls. That's all there was to it.
Oh, by the way, Louis Pika said to tell you he is listening to us. He's still suspended. He said the Vikings and the Bears just hired black GMs and then hired 2 cracker coaches, as your boy Eric Adams would say. Thanks, thanks, Louis. so our people watching us and listening to us, Jeff.
Well, at least we know we're not doing this for wasting our time. At least
we never wasted our time. Yeah, listen, I'll disagree with you on the Deflategate, but let's talk about Devin Hester because I got the list of. Tonight is the NFL honors, and tonight they will announce all the people going into. I believe it's 5 guys going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
I would like to run down Would you like me to run down the players
who
are going in, and we can give. And we'll finish it with Devin Hester and the reason he's not a Hall of Famer.
Oh, well, if he's going into the Hall of Fame, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's not going. If he goes in, it's if Devin Hester goes into the Hall of Fame, it's like Harold Baines went in.
Come on, please.
You might as well.
Please, come on.
Might as well just call. Okay, so here we go. Ready? Jeff, defensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears, and Carolina Panthers, Jared Allen.
He played a long, productive career. I don't know his stats offhand, but I know that he was a well sought-after player for a while. I remember when he was with the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
He terrorized quarterbacks for a while, and I think he's deserved to get in.
Okay. I think Jared Allen was a good player. I never thought of him as a great player. I have a hard time putting him in there. So I do not believe he'll get in. I'm going to keep scoring this.
Before we go to the next one, let me ask you something. What is the definition of a great player nowadays?
I don't know. Here's the way I look at it. And to me, it's not about stats. It's not about sacks. It's not about, when I think of a Hall of Famer, I want to say, he was in the top 5 people in his position during his time frame. That's
what position exactly was he?
Defensive end.
Defensive end. So let's say that most teams played either a 3-4 or 4-3, meaning that. Oh,
nice.
Man. Yeah, meaning that there's at least 2 defensive ends per team. Mm-hmm. So out of 32 teams, 64 defensive ends minimum. And he was in the top 5, meaning that there was 59 players behind him. Okay. I think that's good enough to get into the Hall of Fame because it certainly seems to everything else that you said about not really paying attention to stats and all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
That stats only seems to be important if you're the quarterback. Even running back stats nowadays don't seem to mean much.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That's why I say it's got to be by the eye test. And the eye test was Jared. Listen, he wound up with 136 sacks for his career. So
that's not bad.
No, not bad at all. He led the league in sacks twice, 15.5 in 2007 and 22 in 2011. So, I mean, not horrendous. Played 181 of 187 games. Actually 6 interceptions, 1 TD in his career, I guess, returned to fumbles. And again, we go by the sacks. Again, a good player. I never counted him as a Hall of Famer. Jeff says, this is Jeff column, and this is the Tom column. And Tom says no. Jeff says yes. Okay, we'll do it that way. Let's move down. Rondé Barber, Jeff, defensive back for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 1997 to 2012, all with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I don't know much about Rondé Barber other than he was Tiki's brother and like exact duplicate of a twin. It was scary.
They are twins. Yep. They are twins. Yep.
And I'm going to have to say that I'm going to refrain from voting because I don't know enough about the guy. Unless you have his stats on hand.
I have his stats up right now. If you what do you want to know? What can I tell you?
Let's give us some highlights.
Okay, played in 241 games, started 232 of them. He had 47 interceptions, led the league in 2001 with 10. He had a bunch of years of 2s and 3s and 5s. Let's see. He had 8 touchdowns, I guess, on return. Led the league with interception returns in 2006. Passed 197 pass defense. A lot knocked in passes down. Most he had was 24 in one season. And let's see. Total tackles was 1,251 tackles for his career. So Tiki Barber, I'm sorry, this is Rondé Barber. Was a solid player. I would not yell and scream if Rondé Barber went into the Hall of Fame. I think he had a very long career, like you said. He played till he was 37 years old, Jeff, as a corner.
Wow.
Yeah,
he make the switch over to safety.
Only in his last year. I was just going to tell you that. He played corner until he was 36. His last season, he was a free safety. So good call by you.
I would have to say, I guess that he could go in. I mean, evidently he's going in anyway.
No. Only five of these guys I'm going to give you make it in. I heard the list is down to 5.
Okay.
Going into the Hall of Fame. So not every one of these guys are going to get in. But let's run through it again. We got Tony Boselli, the tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans from 1995 to 2002. I thought Boselli was a really good tackle, one of the better ones in the league at that time. He played. I would vote for Tony Boselli to get in the Hall of Fame.
Offensive lineman, it seems as though if your quarterback didn't get killed, you get into some consideration. But
yeah,
he only played 7 years.
He played no.
You said 95.
Yeah, 95 to 2002. Yeah, 7 years.
Is his career long enough to be considered to go into the Hall of Fame?
That's a really good question. I have a serious thing with that. When you're a coach, you got to coach more than 10 years. I think as a player, you need to probably play more than 10 years, especially as an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I was just going to, depending on the situation, on the position.
Yeah, I don't expect the running back to be 10 years or better. That's a little questionable, right?
Yeah, I would say at this point in time, yeah.
Yeah, the way it goes. So, yeah, Tony Boselli, I would not scream and yell if he got in. I'll say yes. I have to pick 5. He's going to be one of my 5 to pick.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're saying no on Tony Boselli because he didn't play long.
I'm going to say no because, 1, I don't know much about the guy, and 2, only 7 years. And didn't he end his career with getting hurt or something?
Yes, he was on injury reserve to end his career. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, so then he basically played at least 6+ seasons, not a full 7 seasons, right?
Probably right. Yep, I would say you're 100% right.
I'm going to say that he didn't play enough games.
Okay. All right. Now, Torrey Holt, the wide receiver for the Rams from 1999 to 2009. Ended his career with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeff, I'll give you a little bit of highlights for Torrey Holt. Played with the greatest show on turf. He had 920 catches for his career. He averaged over 100 catches for his career. 13,000 yards receiving. Doesn't sound like a lot to me, but it's not bad. You can't complain. 13. He played 9 years, got 13,000.
He played 9 years, and he had 1,000-yard season. He would only, have 9,000 yards. So
I'll give it to you right now. He had 788, 1635, 1363, 1302, 1696, 1372, 1331, 1188, 1189. And then his last 2 years were only 796 and 722. 74 touchdowns for his career, Jeff. And his long was 85 yards. I wasn't a big fan of Torrey Holt. I thought that team was a little bit overrated. A lot of weapons on that team. I think Torrey Holt's going to get in. He's well over 1,000 yards a year, 8 touchdowns a season. I would say Torrey Holt's going to get in.
He had several 1,300-yard seasons from what you said, and 1,100-yard seasons. I see no reason why he shouldn't get in.
2 1,600-yard seasons. Both those seasons led the league. So
that's a lot of receiving yards, and he seemed to did it consistently. For what, 7-8 years in a row?
Yes, for exactly that. Yes, you're 100%.
That's a lot of time. I would say, yeah, I'm going to go yes on.
Okay. Andre Johnson is the receiver. Let's see if I can get him up here. That's this Andre Johnson. So Andre Johnson played for the Houston Texans last 2 years were Indianapolis and Tennessee. Andre Johnson, again, played for, 12 years, 14 years, 14,000 yards, 70 touchdowns. let's see, 1,062 receptions. Led the league in receptions twice, in yardage twice. Most he had was 9 touchdowns in a season. Jeff, it's to me, it's that era. I never thought Andre Johnson was a full flight, one of the best in the league receivers. You can make the case if you want. I'm going to say no, but what's your take?
I'm going to say not this year.
Okay, you think he
Not
gets
this
in?
year. I think Isaac Holt is a better choice to get into the Hall of Fame. I can't say that he's not going to be voted in another year, a slower year,
right?
Or with less premium position players involved. But no, not this year. And Tom, hold on to this one. I got to run in the bathroom real quick. I got to take a quick squirt. I'm sorry.
All right, good. Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom here at our usual Thursday landing spot. Glad you're with us, having some fun tonight. I hope you guys stick around and stay with us. We're talking Super Bowl. We'll get to that in a few minutes. We're going to finish the NFL. We're going to finish the NFL. We're going to run through the candidates, and then we'll get back to the Super Bowl, do our picks, and all that good stuff. We're still going to talk a little bit about the Manning cast. I want to get to. I'll talk a little about the Olympics when Jeff's gone. The China Olympics is rough to watch. And first off, with all the stuff that went on, it is extremely hard to watch the Olympics right now. First off, you watch the morning and the night. It's just a replay of the live. It's very hard to watch. It's been nothing but snowboarding and curling. A little bit late in the night, I've gotten to see some skiing. But it has not been a good cast, and that's hard to watch just because it's in China. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. It's very difficult. You get the feeling that a lot of people don't want to be there, have no choice. I don't think we've done a real good job so far. We usually, hold our own in the winter games, but it has not been a lot of fun. And I question future Olympic games. But Jeff, I was just saying, I love the Olympics. I'm usually a big fan of watching. I'll be on vacation next week, so I'll watch a little bit more. But it's hard to watch while it's in China. With all the stuff that's gone on the last couple of years with China, to think about watching and celebrating these games with them, it's ridiculous.
Well, listen, it is what it is, Tom. I hear you, but It is what it is.
Nope, I got you. All right, let's get back to our breakdown of the NFL candidates. The inductees will be on the NFL Honors tonight. So if you guys get a chance, you watch it. Next up is Sam Mills, the linebacker for the diminutive linebacker for the New Orleans Saints. Sam Mills was a 5'9", 229-pound linebacker. Jeff, it's not much for me to tell you. Again, let's see, tackles for his career. Guy played 12 years, had 1,200 tackles combined, 363 only. See, the problem I have is he only has 363 solo tackles, which means he was helping people out most of the time and not making tackles.
Or were people helping him out?
Well, listen, anything's possible. They only give him credit for 363 solo tackles for his career. Again, Sam Mills was a really good player. I like Sam Mills as a linebacker. Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling, Sam Mills, good players. I can't put Sam Mills in the Hall of Fame. I just can't do it.
It sounds a little small to be a linebacker, and I remember with the Jets when they took Darren Lee as their number one pick a few years ago, and I remember hearing size very similar.
Yep.
Actually, I think he was a little shorter, but he weighed about the same, 229, about 235 pounds, somewhere in that area. And I'm like, that's just way too small. He's going to get run over by running backs. He's going to get pushed around by offensive linemen. And with 1,200 tackles and only 300 and change being credited to him as solo tackles, I don't go as that he was helping other people. I'm going as the people was helping him out of the remaining 800 and change tackles.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how many people were in on his tackles with that. You know what I mean? Well, that's probably a strat we won't be able to ever really find out. But I agree with you. I'm going to go with it. No, he don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. Next up, Richard Seymour, the defensive tackle, defensive end for the New England Patriots, Oakland Raiders. Richard Seymour was a really good player. 57 sacks for a 12-year career and 500 total tackles. It's not enough meat. Richard Seymour was a good player, solid player. I'm going to say no to Richard Seymour, Jeff.
How many Super Bowl appearances?
Let's see. He was on the playoffs. Let's see if I get his scoring. I want to say it doesn't show me, but let's see. He was with the Patriots till 2008, so it'd be one.
Yeah, you can pretty much count every fucking
two. I would say four Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah, and probably won at least 3 of them, right? Or 2.
I would say he won 2002, 2003. Yeah, I would say he won at least 3 of the 4. I would say.
Yeah, I think I could, just for that alone, I think I could put him in.
So you give a lot of weight to championships, to any player who was on the teams at that time, like you, you know what I'm saying? Like and a lot of people do it. I was listening today, and they were talking about Cliff Branch and why he hasn't gotten it is because they think that there's that team didn't win enough Super Bowls to justify a lot of Hall of Famers. But
no, because I remember the Patriots as a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't have people that led the league in every category, offensive and defensive category, right. But they had a bunch of guys on the team that did their part. And when everybody does their part, you don't need to have somebody that's going to be a statistical leader to carry the team. The team is all firing on all cylinders, so to speak. So you know that everybody's doing their bit. And I believe that Seymour was one of those players. I remember his name being called a lot, watching them play the Jets over the years and being in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. He wasn't a player that came off the bench for third down. That's for sure.
Yep.
He was on the field the majority of the time. I'm not saying that stats aren't important, but in this situation, a team like the Patriots, I would have to say that his Super Bowl appearances definitely carry some more weight than some other players.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Next up, Jeff, is linebacker Zach Thomas for the Miami Dolphins. Zach Thomas, yes. Zach Thomas had some controversy at the end of his career with saying he was mugged in New York when he wasn't mugged, and it was kind of craziness. But impressively, 1,700. He played 13 years, 1,734 tackles for his career. 1,107 of them was solo tackles.
Yeah, enough said.
To me, that speaks for itself. You're a middle linebacker, and you're making, 3/4 of the tackles yourself.
Those are LT numbers.
Yeah, I mean that's.
What was his career sacks? Do you know?
Yeah, 30. Let's see. Hold on a second. I did see it. No, 20 and a half.
20 and a half, right. Not many sacks, but it certainly seems as though that he took care of business on the field. How about any interceptions, touchdowns?
17 for his career.
17. So he wasn't exactly, he was a tackling machine.
The guy was a tackling machine. The guy played inside linebacker and was a tackling machine right to the end of his career. Ended with 94 for his year. Listen to this. You want combined tackles or you want solo tackles? Which one's more impressive to you?
Solo tackles.
120, 78, 86, 85, 56, 95, 100, 85, 85. Now, last 4 years of his career, 107, 103, and then had a drop off to 42. He only played 5 games that year, had 42 solo tackles in 5 games. That's 8 a game. And his last year, he had 65 solo tackles. That's not bad. It's kind of impressive.
And how old was he when he left the league?
35 years old.
35 years old. As a middle linebacker, he still had, what did you say his last solo tackles?
65 in his last year.
At 35 years old.
Yep.
Wow. You think about it, and we've said this before on this show, 35 years old for an athlete is old. When a normal man, 35 years old, you're pretty much in peak.
Sure. Yeah.
Peak physical. You've hit your full size and everything else.
Yep.
You may just be starting to lose a little edge at 35 years old if you're
Yep.
a normal human being. Of course, and a professional athlete is a different story, but 65 tackles in the end, today's NFL, you know, I would consider him a today player. That's good, man. That's good.
Yep, Jeff and I both agree on that one. DeMarcus Ware, linebacker, Dallas Cowboys, Denver Broncos. You have 138.5 sacks for his career. Only 500 tackles for his career total as a defensive lineman, linebacker, right outside linebacker, defensive lineman. The sacks are impressive, Jeff. Don't get me wrong. Led the league with 20 and 15 2 years. I'd have to lean to yes. He was a really good player. The tackles bother me as a linebacker. Only 500 set tackles for your career, though.
Well, you said that he was playing linebacker, defensive end.
Yes.
And with the sacks that are not counted as tackles, correct?
No, sacks are counted as tackles, sure.
All right, so you're taking 130 something off of that 500 and change.
Yes. Yeah, take that off there, and that's what else he had, yes.
All right, well, the only thing I could say is most of the time you would think defensive linemen would have a lot more tackles because they're defensive linemen. Then you find out, you know, a good defensive lineman, if they get 40 tackles a year, it'd be like, you know, that was a lot. You know, most of the plays get through the defensive lineman, you know, for the most part. So I'm going to say 500 tackles in his career. I'm going to say, yeah, I think that the guy should have made it in.
Yeah, you're basing it on most of the sacks, though, right? More than anything else at this point.
Definitely, but you know what? Even with how many years did he play?
12.
So 12 years, and he had over 500 tackles?
Yes.
So you're talking about 40 to 45 tackles a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a defensive lineman, when you think of it that way, that's not too bad.
No, I get it, but if you take it to 16 games, you're down to 2 or 3 tackles a game. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I would tell you, you know, I'm voting for him. I think he did enough as an outside backer harassing the quarterback that I would say he's in. So I'm with you. It's if I had to pare down my list for any reason, he might not make it, but I'm with you. I'm going to go with him. Next up on the list, Jeff, is Indianapolis Colt Reggie Wayne, 13 years in the league, all for the Colts. Led the league in receiving one time, 1,510 yards. Jeff, he had 14,345 yards with 82 touchdowns for his career.
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, just playing on one team in today's NFL. He played with Peyton Manning.
Yep.
So he had a lot of helping Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning had a lot to do with helping him get those numbers. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think he deserves to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm going to say no because he wasn't even the best receiver on his team. Marvin Harrison was the better receiver on that team. I can't, again, the numbers are great, and you're right. He played in an era where they threw the ball a lot, and he played for Peyton Manning and that whole thing. He wasn't even the best player on his team, let alone in the league. So I want to vote no on that one. I don't know if that changes your mind at all.
No, I still think I remember him being. I know that they played together, but I also know that they played a couple years with just one another.
Right.
And he was the option, his number one option for Peyton Manning. So I still think that he should have got in.
Okay. Well, I'm leaving him up there. Okay. Patrick Willis, linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers. He played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, Jeff. 8 years as a right inside linebacker. Again, I'll tell you, less than 100 tackles for his career as far as average. He had 733 solo tackles for 8-year career, 20 sacks. Patrick Willis was a good football player, but I don't have him as a Hall of Famer.
Sadly, this is the first one on the list that I actually know nothing about, and I think even you reading me the numbers is not going to give me enough information on him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to say no because a lot of these other guys, what years did he play from? Can you give me that?
2007 to 2014.
I'm going to be honest with you, Tom. I don't know nothing about him. The name doesn't even ring a bell. I'm going to have to say no.
Okay, yeah,
So
again,
far, everybody else I knew of one way or
sure.
another and knew something about him. This guy I know nothing about.
Okay, yeah, again, stats don't always tell the story, but I think it does here. Patrick Willis was a good player, not a great player. So I'm going to be with you on that. Last and not least is, not last, is Bryant Young, the defensive tackle, defensive end. Basically the same era, 1994 to 2007, my San Francisco 49ers. Bryant Young was a left defensive tackle. Jeff, 90 sacks for his career, 600 combined tackles, 519 solo tackles. I always thought Bryant Young was a really good player. He never overwhelmed me as a player. So my vote on Bryant Young is a no.
I got to agree with you. The numbers seem a little light.
Yep.
Especially for the amount of time that he played.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember correctly, there was a lot of lean years in San Francisco.
There was a lot of lean years in those years. That's absolutely correct on that, Jeff.
Yeah, but I don't think that's enough to put him over the edge. I'm going to say no also on that one.
Okay, that's fine. And we get down to where we started, Jeff, and that's with Devin Hester. Now, do you want to go first and make your point for him? Do you want me to go first and make my point against?
Well, how about, could you give us some quick stats?
Sure. Okay. Let's go. He played 156 games over a 12-year career. He played most of it in Chicago and then finished up with 2 years in Atlanta. And then 2 teams in his last year, Baltimore and Seattle. Let's see, Jeff. He played in 156 games, started them 47 times. He had 315 returns for 3,695 yards and 14 touchdowns. Try to take his kick returns, 7,000 kick return yards with five touchdowns for his career. Let's see. I can give you his receiving stats just so you have them. Let's see. 255 receptions, 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. He had another 1 touchdown rushing the football. So that's pretty much Devin Hester. He led the league in returns once, yards twice, returned, and that's it. And then kick returns, he led the league twice in yards as well.
All right. Well, basing this on just his return touchdowns, is what's getting him into the Hall of Fame. Now, when John put this up in the group chat,
yep,
of course, we had to bring a Steeler into it one way or another.
God, he's got to bury Mike Tomlin in it. God.
Yeah, unbelievable.
John's a one-trick pony, but you gotta love him.
I hear you. While I understand his point, this is my point.
Okay.
The guy had 20 combined touchdowns on punts, kicks, and I think an interception.
He had one. He also had 1 rushing touchdown.
Well, there was one. I think it was an interception or a blocked field goal. I'm sorry, blocked field goal.
Okay.
Interception, not interception, blocked field goal, kickoffs, and punt returns.
Okay.
I think he hit 20.
Yes.
To me, that's a record that, regardless of what you think and what you say, okay, a special teams record, 20 touchdowns, that's never going to be broken by one single player. I think there's records Tom Brady set that are in danger of falling way before that record, because even if he played 10 years and he got 2 a year, he would have to play, another player would have to play more than 10 years to break that record at 2 touchdowns a year. Think about that. You know what I mean? I understand your point. As a wide receiver, definitely not. If he goes in, he should definitely go in as a special teams player, most notably for kickoff and punt return touchdowns. And I think it's a record. I really think that records that Brady holds, such as most passing yards, would fall before that one. Most touchdowns might fall before that one. I don't. Special teams, who plays special teams long enough to even be in the league that long to even have a chance at trying to break that record?
True.
That to me is football's Joe DiMaggio's 54 game hitting streak to me.
I'll agree with you 100%. I just can't put a guy who basically plays 6 plays a game.
Listen,
I get it. Maybe the best. It's again back.
Somebody has to play that position at that time, Tom.
It's the being the tallest midget at the circus. It just I just can't.
But nonetheless, it is a play.
I agree 100%. But it's like we talk about it all the time. There are certain guys like DH. You get up you impact the game 4 times, or a guy who's a pitcher being the MVP of Major League Baseball when you only play in 30 games of a 162 game season. I think Devin Hester was a fantastic athlete. He was an absolute weapon. He might be the best returner I ever saw. I'm not sure. Maybe Dion was a little better. I'm not really sure. But at the end of the day,
Dion might have had more yards, but Dion didn't have the touchdowns that this guy.
No, nobody did. And
that's why he's going to get in, because of the amount of touchdowns he has.
I don't think he's got a shot in hell of getting in there. I hope he doesn't. I think it cheapens it. I think he's a fantastic player. He'll go down as the best special teamer, returner wise, ever. But I just can't, Jeff, for the life of me, put a guy in who at best put his hands on the ball 6 or 8 times in a game. I just can't.
Yeah, well, listen, if you think about what he did, okay, and like I said, when it comes to defensive touchdowns, if you say that there was Deion Sanders or Darrelle Revis, okay, one of these 2 guys, great cornerbacks in their league in their time, and one of the reasons that they're in the Hall of Fame is because one had 8 touchdowns, 8 pick sixes for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay, and you'd be like, well, the guy played for 12 years and he scored 8 touchdowns. All right. And you know that's giving him numbers. So I'm just using that as an example. He may have 3 or 4 if he even has that many.
Sure.
But 20 combined for punt returns, kick returns, and a blocked field goal, there's never, ever going to be a way anybody ever breaks that record. Right. Not in our lifetime. We're not going to see it.
I agree with you on that part. I disagree that it makes him a Hall of Famer, but I agree with you. We'll probably never see a guy who put up those kind of those stats.
It's the act of what he did at that time. Special teams, a lot of people don't get credit. When you hear special teams, you think of the punter and you think of the field goal kicker, the place kicker.
Right.
You never really think of the guy that, 1,000 yards on a guy that for a kick returner for the year.
Yep.
Yeah, it's possible because if your team sucks, the other team's kicking the ball off to you maybe fucking 6, 7, 8 times a game because they're scoring like mad.
Yep.
So you got to think. I don't know how good Chicago was during that time, but not for nothing, Chicago's never really been a team was good for long stretches of time.
True. All true.
So he's seen his share of kickoff returns.
I'm not disagreeing. Like I said, I don't disagree with you. I just, like I said, I have a hard. I think he has a place in NFL annals. Might even have a little place in the Hall of Fame where you can kind of put him up there. But I just don't think he's an actual Hall of Famer. But
I don't think. Does it say what position he's being voted in for?
It doesn't say. I'm sorry. It does say. I'm sorry. It does say punt returner, kick returner, wide receiver.
All right, so then there you go. If it was wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner, or wide receiver, punt returner, kick returner, then I could say, yeah, I agree with you. But they got him listed as a punt returner, kick returner first, then wide receiver.
Okay.
So I think just knowing that, because it's a record, if he had 10 touchdowns, then I would say I agree with you. But 20, I mean, the only other person I know that had somewhat of a career like that was Leon Washington, that played for the Jets.
Yep.
And I know that he didn't even come close to those numbers. He may have had 6 or 7 for his career.
Yeah.
But not even close. Not even close.
All right. Well, Tom put in 5. Jeff put in 8. If we had a vote, which we don't yet, maybe someday we'll have one. But right now, Jeff's got 8 guys going in. I want to ask you about a couple plays that they were talking about today on the different shows. One of them being Kenny Stabler. Is Kenny Stabler a Hall of Famer? And I don't know Kenny Stabler's stats off the top of my head. I don't know if you're interested in Kenny Stabler's stats.
Yeah, if you got him, man, what do you got?
Right now. Kenny Stabler to me was a Hall of Famer based on what I saw from him. Again, only one Super Bowl appearance. Probably hurts him a little bit. All right, so Jeff, Kenny Stabler's career, you ready? 184 games, 146 starts, 2,270 for 3,793 yards completions, 27,938 yards, 194 touchdowns. Let's see if I give you something else. Most of it.
It's like over 200 interceptions.
Oh yeah, I'll give you 222 interceptions. So
yeah, there's a big difference right there.
Yeah, played for 15 years.
And what was his completion percentage? It was under 70%.
His
it was like 64 or 65%.
59.8%.
There you go. That's what's keeping him out.
Yeah, I watching Kenny Stabler play, and I'm trying to think those 90. Oh, New Orleans. Okay, he played for New Orleans for 2 years.
Yeah, and
then for 3 years. Okay, Houston, Oakland, New Orleans. Anyway, I always thought Kenny Stabler was there. I mean, he was an MVP in 1974. Let's see, he was third. He was third place MVP a couple years later, and an 8th place MVP. So, but one league MVP in 1974, Jeff.
Yeah, but Tom, that was a different. I will say, different league back then.
Absolutely, can't judge it by stats. Yep.
And everything, so that could be a little deceptive. But the one Super Bowl appearance when in the 70s, you had Roger Staubach got how many times in there? Fran Tarkenton had how many runs into the Super Bowl?
No.
Terry Bradshaw, 4 Super Bowl victories. John Elway played in he didn't play in the 70s, he played in the 80s, correct?
Yep, 80s.
Yeah, so just between Staubach, Stabler, Bradshaw, Tarkenton, think of how many Super Bowls they all have between them, and Stabler walks out of there with 1.
Listen, it's hard to argue it. I'm trying to get his postseason games, but I can't seem to get his postseason careers. But I think the thing that hurts him is the postseason. He didn't have enough Super Bowl appearances or a big, again, once the big games in the playoffs. But that's what's going to hurt him. And you're right. His numbers, the completion percentage, and a lot of interceptions. That's
his numbers are very Joe Namath-like. And actually, he probably has better numbers overall than Joe Namath.
I would agree.
But, big but here, the difference between Ken Stabler and Joe Namath is that Ken Stabler had John Madden, okay, and a list of characters.
And a lot of Hall of Famers.
And a lot of Hall of Famers.
A lot of Hall of Famers on that team, yeah.
Joe Namath, while he played with some Hall of Famers,
will
be more linked to ushering in the AFL into the NFL with a win than the Jets winning a Super Bowl, so to speak.
I would agree with that. Yes, 100%.
Helping usher in the AFL teams is what got him into the Hall of Fame, I believe.
The Pope is on the money.
Numbers certainly were not Hall of Fame numbers.
Nope, I agree with that. And the other guy I want to talk about is a teammate of his, Cliff Branch, who I always thought was a Hall of Famer. I'll give you his stats, Jeff, real quick. 183 games. Oh, God, what you gotta do?
Go ahead.
183 games. Started 150 of them. He had 500 receptions in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
90
7, 8,
seconds.
10, 11, 12, 13. So he had a 14-year career, 500 receptions, 8,600 yards receiving, 67 touchdowns. He had no touchdowns rushing. That's it. That's pretty much his Hall of Fame career.
What about his seasonal numbers? Did he have any 1,000-yard seasons? Or
yes, he had. Okay, he led the league in 1974 with 1,092. Also 13 touchdowns. Also yards per game. He led the league. He had 2 years of 1,000 yards, 1,092 and 1,111.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that this is more a sympathy vote because John Madden just died and some of these guys may be getting attention?
Well, he's not going to get in on this one. He's not part of the. He did not make it to this part, so he's not getting votes. This is me. There's a few guys. I always thought Cliff Branch, Stabler, Klecko. To me, Klecko's a no-brainer Hall of Famer. There's a handful of guys that are NFL pros that I thought should have been at least talked about. Cliff Branch is one, but when I am underwhelmed. I thought Cliff Branch was a great player. Loved watching the play. But I think
probably was considered a good player, a solid player for his time.
Yep.
But once again, you're talking about a different NFL, Tom. Think of it that way too.
100%. As
You
we
know
say
what I mean?
goodbye to Blog Talk Radio. We'll see all our Jewish friends
Blog Talk Radio.
next
Goodbye.
week. But
700-800 yards a season back then might have been 12 or 1,300 now.
probably right. Yeah, I would say in an era where they didn't throw the ball, 40 times and 50 times a game, it's not terrible numbers, but even by these standards, it's not a lot of TDs, only 67 touchdowns. 2 years he led the league 13 and 12. The rest of it 3, 9, 6, 1, 6, 7, 1, 4, 5.
Wow.
A lot of one touchdown seasons.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, imagine that one touchdown, man. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's a little light to me, and these are times. These are times when these were great teams. Don't forget. I mean, he had the great run with Stabler. Stabler leaves in 70. He leaves in 80. They go to Super Bowl in 81 with Plunkett. And 82. They go to Super Bowl a couple more times after that. So, this isn't a guy who played on very bad teams. He played on some great teams.
Yeah, but you had Mark. You got another friend from the other side there.
Oh boy,
Just popped in.
Yeah.
You're talking. You had Marcus Allen at that point in time. Who was the other running back for? Man, there was another running back from the Raiders around the time of Marcus Allen. What was his? Not Bo Jackson. Who was before Marcus?
They had Mark Van Egan. They had
I don't remember him being
Kenny King was in 81. It was Kenny King.
No,
I'm trying to think who
else. It was a couple. I mean, you had Lyle Alzado. You had a couple big players, but I remember that them. I'm not going to say a ground and pound team. I'm not going to say that.
No,
but they had a lot of decent players. Another team of players that maybe all fed off of one another. Ted Matuzak.
Oh, John Matuzak. Yeah, Ted Hendricks.
Ted Hendricks.
Sure.
Ray
Guy. Sure. Fred Biletnikoff got in the Hall of Fame a couple years ago, and they're playing on the other side of him. So, yeah, not talking about, you also got the offensive lineman. I'm trying to get the guys that can see his face. Shell, not Donnie Shell.
Alan Shell or whatever his name was.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that played off.
His grandson or something was playing on the Jets just a couple of years ago.
Yes, correct.
He played on the Seahawks now as of late.
I think so. So, yeah, I mean, listen, that was a team that was a great team. They won I think the 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Let's see, 77, 76, 81, and I think another one in 84. 84, I think, was the one they beat the Redskins. But yeah, I mean, this is, he played on some great teams, and listen, it's a good career. It's just not a Hall of Fame career. I have to change my mind on that one.
Marcus Allen played running back in the NFL 40 years ago.
Wow.
Is that correct?
I want to say, yeah, he came up in the early 80s.
What the fuck?
I will give you Marcus Allen before we get back to Super Bowl 56. Let's see, Marcus. Marcus Allen, Jeff. Yeah. See, Marcus Allen started his career in 1982, exactly 40 years ago.
So Marcus Allen, over 40 years ago, was a college player that we used to watch on Channel 7.
Yes, USC.
Saturday afternoons.
Correct.
USC. So he started his college career, 78, 79, 80, 81.
Yeah.
And then, or 82.
79, yeah.
No, he got drafted in 82, started playing in 82.
Correct.
So 81 had to be his last year in college.
Correct.
Wow. 40
played until 1997 at the age of 37. Again, 61, touchdowns, 123 touchdowns, 12,000 yards rushing. Another 5,400 yards receiving with another 21 touchdowns. So he had a total of 144 touchdowns for his career. Obviously Marcus Allen was a great player. Total yards, 17,000 yards. If you put in some kickoffs and punts, one MVP, one third place MVP vote, one sixth place MVP vote. Finished up his career. I didn't realize he played 5 years with Kansas City.
Well, I didn't know it was 5 years. I know that he played with another team.
I knew that, but I didn't know that he finished up with 5 years there. Very surprising.
Yeah, I think he was on the run from OJ for spending a little time with Nicole for parking his Bronco at Nicole's house.
Well, you also got to remember that his last 2 years in Oakland were with Bo Jackson, and he played. Let's see, 91. He had played 8 games, started 2. 92 played in 16 games, started 0 of those games in Oakland because he was backing up Marcus Allen, and his rushing yards for those 2 years were 287 and 301, yet still wound up with over 12,000 yards. Imagine if he had played full time. He missed, God. Yeah, they ruined his he could have had 15,000 yards easy.
Jeez. And remember, who was the other guy that he played with? Napoleon Kaufman?
Yes, good call, yes.
Napoleon Kaufman, whose leg, they put a hinge on the other side of his knee, and he bent it over the other way, man.
Kind of walk sideways now, Napoleon Kaufman.
I don't remember seeing that injury, but I remember the aftermath of that injury. And that like them. Did you ever see that injury?
I'm actually trying to find it right now.
So you'll find it. His leg bent, his knee. Somebody, I think Ken Norton Jr. was involved in the play. Somebody rolled him in the front of the knee, and somebody tackled him with like all their weight from behind, and his knee bent the opposite fucking way. So his toe touched his waist or something like that.
Wow. He had rushed for 100 yards in previous game, turned his left ankle with 3:15 left in third quarter. Neither player returned to the game, blah, 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 blah. It's not giving me the video or any of that stuff of it. I probably thank God, although that might be it down there. It's on the YouTube. I'd have to switch onto that. But
but something you're not missing. I mean, unless you like watching videos like that, you're not missing nothing.
I don't. So, but listen, guys, Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom. We'll be back Saturday. Just got confirmation. Our good friend Rafael Esparza will be joining us Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for a little football Super Bowl.
If he's joining us at 9 a.m., what is it, like 6 a.m. his time? Yes,
he's 6 a.m. He says he gets up every morning at 5 a.m. He has to get up every morning at 5 or 5:30 to start checking the scores from the night before and the games that are coming up. So,
like, what does he sleep sitting up? Because this guy, every time I see him, he never looks dirty and shit in the morning. He's always nice and clean. And
yes,
he get up and do his hair and makeup.
I guess he must get up very early, get himself a little nappage. So, Jeff, real quick, the Manning cast has taken off. They're going to be doing it for other sports. I heard for golf, baseball, and I believe college football or I think it's college football, have all going to have now a Manning cast, not obviously with the Manning brothers, but they're going to be calling it the Manning cast. So they'll be having an alternate station to watch these games that will not necessarily be what you would normally say. Any interest, thoughts on the Manning cast taking off? And the Manning brothers is now signed till 2024 to do their thing.
Oh, fucking great. Let me tell you something. I refuse to watch that. Okay, because this is prolonging the career of one of those two fucking brothers. I'm not going to get into that now.
Here we go.
I'm not going to say that Peyton Manning is a hero while his brother Eli is, whatever. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that, Tom. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say that he's a fucking 500 quarterback. I'm not going to say it. Okay,
you're refraining from it. You're holding back.
I'm going to hold back. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say that he's going to be more well known for his Manning show than anything else, because his NFL career just wasn't up to snuff as far as I'm concerned.
Here we go. All right, let's get to also the NFL is expanding their footprint. One game in Mexico this year,
And
and
Germany,
and in the next 4 years, actually through 2024, there'll be 4 games in Germany. One of them in Munich. Frankfurt's getting a game, a couple others. So, any
I don't
thoughts
like
on
it.
the NFL expanding their footprint?
No, I don't like it. I
Why
don't
is
like
that?
it. You're making the league too strong, too powerful. It's going to become too political. I don't like it. I think that the game should stay within our borders.
I agree.
Okay, if you want to do something with Europe or some of these other spots, and you want to broadcast it at a stadium, I could see that.
Yeah.
If you want to find a way to use holograms to replay the game as it happened live and replay the game with holograms on the field.
That's interesting.
That's one thing.
Okay.
But I do not like the idea and thoughts of them going to England and now going to other countries. It's an American sport. I think it should stay in America. If you want to help develop a league in Europe, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think that our players should go over there for these games. I think you're taking away. Let's just say that the Giants next year don't have a home game in September.
Yeah.
But yet they got to go over to England and play a game.
Yeah.
That takes away from you, the fans.
Sure.
And if you have season tickets, that's a game that you miss, but you're paying for half the fucking season. You know that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't like it.
No, I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of the commercialization and broadening of the NFL. I think it's fine being here, but the NFL is going to look for every dollar it can. It's going to try to get the international market, sell jerseys and TV rights and all that stuff up, and some big money to play games out there. So it is what it is, but that's where you're getting it. Jeff, everybody complained about the Pro Bowl. I know I didn't watch it. I'm sure you didn't watch it.
No.
60 million people watched the Pro Bowl last week.
I'm sure most of them watched it in disbelief that the game was actually played. They didn't say how long they watched it for, though, right?
They did not say that how long the average watch was, but I know there was a lot of people beefing that there was no hitting, no tackling. People, I don't know what somebody said it, and I agree. Just play a touch football game or a flag football game. People will be just as happy. The honest truth is, people are going there to watch a bunch of NFL stars run around and do their thing. But it's embarrassing to watch them run around out there and not tackle and play football.
I personally think that the Pro Bowl should be disbanded as a game.
I would agree with you.
Okay, not because, first of all, if I was an owner, the last thing I would want is my $35 million a year quarterback going out there and playing any kind of football game if it didn't count in the standings.
I agree.
So even a two-hand touch game, knees could get ripped up, ankles get fucked up, everything.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a weekend where you could have a meet and greet for the fans, make it a fans weekend.
Okay.
All right. Make it an announcement. You want to make Pro Bowl teams? That's great. You want to make an all-pro team? Better yet, announce it there.
Yep.
Have the fans have an opportunity to meet some of these players. Make it a 3-day event and say, you can meet, Group A this day, Group B that day, Group C this day.
I agree.
At the culmination of it, we can either do it Friday night. We're going to announce all of the winners of all of the awards and everything at the meet and greet Saturday and Sunday, or do it at the end of the weekend, meet and greet Friday, Saturday, announce all the winners on Sunday.
Right.
I just don't see the need and the point of an NFL All-Star game. To me, the only game, All-Star game, that could really be played normally seems to be baseball. And even that, do you want your pitcher getting up there and possibly throwing out his elbow for what?
Sure. Agreed.
Don't see it.
I'm with you on it. So I know I was just surprised by the number of people that actually watched the game.
That's a huge number.
It's a huge number.
61 million, huge number. Unless some of these idiots thought it was the fucking Super Bowl. and there's some of them like, this ain't the Super Bowl.
I can only think it's a bunch of young kids, teenage and younger, who wanted to watch who want to watch these guys run around out there. Otherwise, I can't imagine anybody is out there thinking that they want to watch this game. So
I remember watching the Pro Bowl with my grandfather. I think it used to be on a Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I remember it being after the Super Bowl and being on a Sunday afternoon because I remember it still kind of being light out as the game was ending.
Right.
And I always remember, like, what the fuck? Like, the score would always be like 51-45.
Mm-hmm.
It'd always be some wild ass.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be like, wow, these guys, this is really the best, man. Look at the scores, But then after a while, you realize, like, that nobody's doing anything to stop these guys.
Yeah, I think the last time I watched it might have been 1986. Phil Simms was the MVP. I think that was the last time I actually. I might have briefly watched a couple of in the early 2000s, but yeah, it's not something I know I get to. But Jeff, let's get to we got 15 minutes left. Let's get to the Super Bowl itself. Let's talk about it a little bit here. I think this is an interesting game. I'm going to give you my keys to the game.
Okay.
I'll give you my thoughts on it are Bengals offensive line has to handle the Rams defensive line. You can't give up 9 sacks in this game and think you have a chance to win this game. Unless
I totally agree. I was going to say part of mine, and we could combine them almost.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
See which way you're going to go with this.
Yep.
The whole thing for Cincinnati hinges on stopping Aaron Donald.
Yep, 100%. Couldn't agree more with you there, Jeff. Yeah, it comes down to, they beat the Tennessee Titans, Jeff, even though they gave up 9 sacks because Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions in that game and basically gave it away. So unless your boy Matthew Stafford is going to have that kind of game, which I highly doubt in that system he will, I think that they have to control Aaron Donald and that defensive line.
Yeah, totally.
My next key is obviously the Bengals secondary has to find a way to shut down Cooper Kupp and keep an eye on OBJ. I'm not a big fan of Odell Beckham for a lot of reasons, but he's a tough matchup. And when he's your second guy to Cooper Kupp, that's a tough matchup. And I think the Bengals are going to have a hard time matching up with these guys.
Totally agree. And not for nothing, but OBJ is enough of a player still to give the Bengals nightmares with Cooper Kupp, because it's like, now who are you going to concentrate on? Yes. If you guard Kupp, you're leaving Beckham open. If you guard Beckham, you're leaving him open. Are you going to double team both of them? And now they could slip a third and maybe a slot receiver or a tight end or something. Mm-hmm. A logistics nightmare, man, without a fucking doubt. And with Matthew Stafford, the only way that this breaks down is if Stafford has a bad game.
I agree with you. I think it's my next key, and I'll finish up that one segment, but just by saying, I think Odell Beckham is motivated. I think all the years of playing on bad Giant teams, bad Cleveland Brown teams, I think the guy is motivated to have a big game, and I'll be shocked if he does not have a huge game. He might not win the MVP or any of that stuff. I think Odell is going to have himself 100 yards, a touchdown, and be an impact player in this game. So I'll look out for that. But I think that's going to be something to watch. Joe Mixon's got to run the ball. Cincinnati cannot sit back, Jeff, and throw the ball 50 times. They have to be aggressive on the ground and keep Matthew Stafford in that high flying offense off the field a little bit.
Listen, I agree with you, and to reiterate a little bit more about the Rams and their receivers and everything. Would you consider an MVP for either receiver if they didn't have a good game? And I'll explain why.
Go ahead.
Let's say Cooper Kupp has 3 catches for 45 yards, but Beckham has 10 catches for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, is it because that Beckham just outplayed the defense, or is it because Cooper Kupp is so good that they blocked him and covered him and wouldn't give him an ounce of room to breathe, and he's drawing the double team, allowing Beckham to be maybe single-handed, one-on-one, or you know what I'm saying? Like, sure. You got to think of that possibility also.
I would agree with it. I don't think I could give him the MVP, but I would say he'd be my key.
Well, without the numbers, he ain't going to get it. But
right, but yes, your point is well taken. Your point is Yeah, I mean, you got to think that the Bengals are going to go out of their way to shut down Cooper Kupp, and you're going to have to live with one poison or the other. And the poison you're going to say is, if you're going to lose the game, let Beckham be the guy who beats you, not Cooper Kupp.
I agree, because I think Cooper Kupp can beat them. I think that at this point in time, you're going to want to see what it is that Beckham, does he still have it in the tank?
Absolutely. Just look at the Tampa game. Tampa, last 2 plays of the game were 80-something yards of pass or 70-something yards of passes to Cooper Kupp, and how could you let the guy beat you? So to me, I think your theory is 100% correct. Cooper Kupp could be the most important player of that game and not have anything more than a few catches for a few yards, because it's going to be him taking all of the attention away from everybody else, allowing everybody else to have a big day. So,
they're gonna have to account for him without a doubt. If I'm the coach, I'm gonna make sure that Kupp is covered, and I'm not saying that I'm gonna let Beckham run free.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, too. You got to account for fucking Beckham without a doubt. But I would rather give Beckham a little bit more breathing room than I would fucking Kupp.
I would again 100% agree with that. So yeah, I think that's a very big part how they handle Cooper Kupp, and if they can handle Cooper Kupp, if he goes for a big day, there's no way possible they win the game. They have to force Beckham to be the guy, and limit Kupp, and if they do that, they have a chance. Again, running the football, keeping them off the field is going to be a big thing. And again, I think the biggest thing is the matchup. The quarterback matchup is going to be what you see, Jeff. The young buck coming in. I think Joe Burrow is not afraid of this situation. The guy just won a national championship. Second year in the league, coming off a huge injury, and the guy's standing in the Super Bowl, and I think he's in the way. Do you feel that even though they're the visiting team in this game, do you think that the Rams have any sort of advantage being in their stadium, even though they're not the home team?
I don't know, and I know this is a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Once that they get the stadium and there's a home team and away team, is it possible that they won't even get to use their own locker room?
It's a great question. I think I heard that answer that they will get to use their own locker room, but it's a good question. Because they are, I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to have to look that up for Saturday's show. I'll let you know if that answer, but I think they are going to get to use their locker room.
Because that's like saying that, there's going to be a dinner party at your house, and, you can't sit in your spot at the table because your mother and father are hosting it and your dad's taking over the table. You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, it's no big deal, but if you think about it, it's a huge deal, because you're going into that stadium, you're going to say hello to the same people as you go in. The same people are working at concessions, more than likely. The same guard is going to be at the same gate. Hey, Joe, what's up, man? What's going on? And then you're going off that way instead of that way to your own locker room, that you're a stranger in your own house. Stranger in a strange land, so to speak.
There you go. I made reference.
And you're the fucking away team at your own stadium. How fucked up is that?
Yeah, it's 2 years in a row. It hasn't happened ever, and then 2 years in a row, the Tampa Bay gets it last year, wins the Super Bowl. The Bengals will be in their black uniforms. The Rams will be in their white, some sort of white uniforms. It's the first time team. I think the first time the team has ever been allowed to use one of their alternate uniforms for a Super Bowl game. So I don't think you'll have anything there, although it seems that the team that wears white has won like 14 of the last 15 Super Bowls or something like ridiculous like that.
I don't understand. Why should the team, all right, if you're going to have an alternate uniform, you should be able to wear that uniform whenever you want. The home team, of course, should get the first pick. Just look at the Dallas Cowboys. When you watch the Cowboys, I would rather see them go with their white uniform than their blue uniform. If they wore their white uniform 17 games a year, I'd be just as happy as if they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me. Just like the Steelers, they should always be in black.
I would agree with you, but they do have alternates and they do have second uniforms, and home team gets the pick, and the home team this year is the Cincinnati Bengals.
My point being is that if the home team wants to wear or whoever, you want to wear your alternate uniforms and they're white, so you wear your alternate uniforms. But if you want to wear your away uniforms, you have 3 uniforms, you can't wear the white. You got to wear your colored or your alternates. That's all there is to it. If they letting them have 3 uniforms a year, then once whatever the home team picks, the other team should be able to pick.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. So again, I think the quarterbacks are going to be in a big piece in this puzzle. Obviously, which quarterback plays well. I will tell you, I'll give you my picks. I really am looking forward to watching this game as a fan. Not have a real rooting interest, although I am going to be rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals. Having said that, I will take the Bengals to win this game. I think they can win it outright. I didn't see the line. I don't know if it moved much from 4.5. I know there was a really big bet on the Bengals. I don't have this week's taste paper is in the other room. I will tell you, I'm taking the Bengals to win this game, Jeff, 35-28. I think this is a high-scoring game, and I just like the Bengals' way they're playing football right now. I think Joe Burrow's on a roll, and here's the thing. I don't think this team is afraid of anything, and I just got a feeling that Matthew Stafford's going to be a little tight. Maybe make a mistake early in the game. I just think this Joe Burrow kid just doesn't give a shit. Just is out there winging it, slinging it.
Well, you listen, he's lucky. I don't know if lucky is the word. All right. I don't know if you could say lucky. Burrow was definitely a solid player in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And always looked good and won a national championship. Stafford has been in college so long ago that it doesn't matter what he did in college.
Yes.
Okay. But I'm going to say that this game to me is going to come down, I feel, to the play of one of the two quarterbacks. But you're talking about two guys that can end up with over 300 yards apiece before the end of the game.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be a matter of who has to keep the ball last. I'm hoping it's not going to be one of these games where in the fourth quarter that it's 6-3 or 10-7. I hope we're getting a game out of it.
Okay.
I don't want to see a defensive game, but I also don't want to see a 45-35 game by the time it's over either. But I want to see a fair movement of the ball. I like Matthew Stafford. I like Joe Burrow. I don't know who's going to win this game, but Cincinnati could very well win it. So could the Rams. But I'm going to say that the Rams have been there before, that they know what to expect, that there's a lot of the same guys are still on that team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with the Rams. I think it's going to be close. I think you're talking about less than a 10-point differential when it's all said and done.
I agree.
So I'm going to say maybe 28-24, 28-21 Rams.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I think it can go either way with this one.
But I will say this much: here's the wild card in all of this. Okay, Chase. If Chase has a big game, I don't think that.
I would agree with you. I think
there's going to be much that they could do about it.
The better the game Chase has, the more likelihood that Cincinnati wins this game. Cooper Kupp could have a big day, and the Rams might not win it. I just think if Chase is having that big a day, he's that explosive, he's that great. I think that this game is a Cincinnati win. So I agree with you on that.
You got to think of it this way too. Say what you want. He's a rookie.
Yep.
Joe Burrow's in his second year. Okay.
Yep.
These guys played together in college. What, 2 or 3 years?
I think it was 2 years.
2 years. Okay. So this is the third year that they played together.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you're talking the NFL and you draft a quarterback in the first round and a wide receiver in the second round, and they get together good and they're tight.
Yeah.
And you're talking 3 years, you're talking 21, 22, 23 is when they'll start playing well together. This guy comes into the league and lights the league on fire with his old teammate. They already went through their growing pains and everything else. Now they're doing it on a completely different fucking level. This could be a deadly fucking combination for the next 10 to 12 years, easily.
Sure. Yeah, no, listen, this could be the best. This could be the NFL combination for the next dozen years, and you're 100% right. And it starts right here. So, listen, we're going to look forward to Sunday's game. We're going to be talking about it this Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Jeff, John, and myself, joined by our good friend Rafael Esparza, and maybe some other people, who knows. But we'll be talking about this Saturday morning, 9 a.m. So we'll do a little more in-depth on the game with John. We'll talk a little more on the finer points. I'm going to bring up some matchups. So I'm hoping you guys will stick around and come on back Saturday morning, 9 a.m. when the Sunday Audible kicks off. Maybe our last show of the year. So come on and give us a hand. And again, remember, Jeff and I are off next week. Let's say that we're going to be off next Thursday. We will do a show some point next week. We'll get together and figure that one out. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that. Jeff, I'm going to give you the final word before the thank yous.
No, dude, just looking forward to Sunday's game. Hopefully, everybody's got their goodies and food going, and everybody's in a nice warm house because Sunday, I believe, is going to be a little chilly.
That's what they say, yeah.
Perfect Super Bowl weather, and enjoy the game, have a good time, and listen, we'll be back again soon, man.
Yep, we'll be back next week. I just don't know what day. Maybe Monday, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday or Saturday, but we'll be on next week. It just won't be Thursday night. Unfortunately, I'll be away. Sunken up to some suns in Florida. Just kind of relaxing.
Are you driving or flying?
No, we're flying down. We fly Tuesday morning, and we fly home Friday afternoon. So it's a quick trip, but just enough time to kind of shake out the cobwebs and warm up a little bit. And I can use the breather. Things have been a little busy for me.
Good for you, man.
Oh, but yeah. So listen, guys, enjoy the game. We'll see you Saturday. We'll do a little more in depth on the Super Bowl. So come on back in if you want to get a little more technical on the game. But the Hard Rocket Sports Show for Thursday, February the 10th is over. We want you guys to have a great weekend. Stay warm on the weekend. It looks like the temps are up next week, so maybe we're heading for some good spring weather coming up. In the meantime, enjoy the Super Bowl. And come back next week and look for our post game show next week. So again, for Jeff Talwinski and myself and everybody here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show, I say thanks for listening, thanks for tuning in and watching us, and we'll see you here sometime next week. So everybody enjoy it. Hefe, thanks, brother. I will talk to you off the air.
Later, man.
Later, man.